official World Cup coverage on SJ Radio.
Saladai. Thank you. Yeah, welcome guys, we're back for another World Cup action with Iran and a take on Spain. Team news on the way for yourself. But first, other scores throughout the day then. The early kick-off, Portugal and Morocco. Portugal won after 4 minutes with a header from Cristiano Ronaldo. And Morocco nil. News from Morocco coming up. And Uruguay just finished. Uruguay and Saudi Arabia. Uruguay 1, Saudi Arabia nil. So as it stands at the moment, Morocco is out of the World Cup due to not scoring any goals. So anyway, for yourself, Iran and Spain, 8 minutes away, broadcasting around the world on the live service. Iran playing a 4-1-4-1 formation. And Spain playing a 4-2-3-1 formation. Team news is David Silva, David Costa and De Gea all start for Spain this evening. On the bench, key ones to look out for is Yogabang and of course Nacho. So 8 minutes away until that game gets underway. Don't forget, we've got more FA World Cup action for yourself tomorrow night as well. And at 10:30 tonight, we have got And at 10:30 tonight, we've got the highlight show as well for all the competitions today. All of today's game matches and analysis is all for you tonight for from 10:30. So it's been a busy week. It's a weekend. This is a report from what's happened in the first 7 days of the World Cup. Of course, all the latest news from day 7 in the World Cup, in that inclusion the promises of England and Brazil's boost and Iceland's fear to fly. Yeah, fear to flies. Let's get this on the report of day 7 of the World Cup.
Today, England have their first day off since they arrived in Russia, but could there be trouble ahead? There's been flooding in the city that will stage their next match against Panama on Sunday. 2 days to go until Brazil face Costa Rica, but there's some positive news for them today. Neymar's expected to resume full training following a morning of treatment on his right ankle. Spain will start with David De Gea when they take on Iran in Kazan tonight. The Manchester United goalkeeper made a mistake against Portugal, allowing Cristiano Ronaldo to score his second goal on Friday. Iceland have shown no fear at their first World Cup after an opening draw with Argentina, but their players aren't keen on the amount of flies in Russia.
Ég meira á að gera flugunum heldur en hitanum. Ég var einmitt að segja við einhvern veginn áðan að
Japan's fans were very excited after their win against Colombia. After the match, they set a very good example by picking up their own rubbish as they left the stadium in Saransk. And you can catch all the latest news from Russia in our World Cup specials today at midday, 3, 6 and 9 p.m.
There you go. Now Rashford done a press conference earlier on today. Now Marcus Rashford heaps praise for Harry Kane as he influenced the team during, well, of course, Monday's 2-1 win over Tunisia. Teams just coming out, Spanish teams just coming out of the Dutch. We'll have live action and a commentary from Moraine versus Spain. After this is what Marcus Rashford said about Monday's game.
You know, I think he's been a brilliant leader for us, leading up to the tournament as well as now we've started the tournament. You know, he always leads by example, and there's no better way to do it than scoring goals like he's been doing.
How good is he?
He's a top forward, so you know, his career is only going to go up and up, and you know, he's very young, and at this stage of his career, he's going to keep improving and getting better. So you know, who knows how good he can get.
The winning goal in injury time that he did, it was an instinctive header. You're a striker yourself. How difficult a skill is that, especially under the pressure of the circumstances?
You know, I think for him, if you asked him, it's fairly simple for him. You just take it in your stride. You don't have to think much about it, and you just take the opportunity as it presents itself. So, you know, there's a lot of other things to get the chance. So, you got to be in the right place at the right time, and you know, he done it for us again.
The official World Cup coverage on SJ Radio.
Here we go in. So, Morocco out of the World Cup. Iran needs to win or at least get a draw to get in. Of course, if Iran loses today's match, then they are mathematically out of the World Cup 2018. Let's join our commentary teams in, shall we? Let's head over to commentary. Iran versus Spain. Let's go.
The World Cup 2014 in Brazil. This is SJ Radio.
Majid Hosseini on his birthday, winning only his third cap for his national team alongside Morteza Pour-Ali Ganji. Ehsan Hadsabi at left back, curled in the free kick that created the winning goal against Morocco. It's going to be 4-5-1. Omid Ebrahimi, Vahid Amiri and Saeed Ezzatullahi, the 21-year-old, back into the team after suspension in that sort of central three, with support from Karim Ansarifat and Mehdi Taremi, who's come into the side this evening. He scored 8 goals in qualifying. Sadar Azmoun, the main man, the only man up front, who, as Chris mentioned, plays his club football here in Kazan. Spain, De Gea in goal. Just wonder what's going through his head after the big mistake in the game against Portugal. Carvajal comes in at right back, Jordi Alba at left back, Piqué and Ramos the centre-backs, Busquets, Iniesta, Vasquez, Isco, David Silva and Diego Costa. And as Mark Chapman was saying, Chris Sutton, we've seen Ronaldo score today, we've seen Suarez score today. Time for Diego Costa to do the business. It's a tournament
in the main where the big players have stepped up, so Diego Costa did it against Portugal. He will have great confidence the way he bullied the centre-half pairing of Portugal, and he'll want to bully this back line of Iran tonight.
DJ Bubblegum inside this stadium, still blasting out the tunes, and we're waiting for the countdown to begin to get this game underway. Iran against Spain in the Kazan Arena. Kazan, just to paint you a little picture of where we are, is about 450 miles to the east of Moscow. Slightly cool evening here this evening. It sits on the west bank of the river Kazanka, just before it joins the much bigger river Volga, or the Mummy Volga, as it's known over here. The stadium holds 45,000, and we are underway. The roof of the stadium is kind of meant to resemble, as you look at it from afar or above, a giant aluminium water lily. Chris, your description was more kind of like the Velodrome in London, sort of flipped the other way. So where no, what I mean by that is that roof kind of dips down and up like a skateboard ramp, and this roof is convex, not concave. That's what I'm trying to say.
You got there in the end.
We got there in the end. 30 seconds in. Let's hope we're in for another cracking game here on 5 Live. Andres Iniesta playing in his last World Cup for Spain. Shirt untucked. Rolls the ball with his right foot and Spain attacking down the inside right channel. David Silva, little flick here from Vasquez. Back to Silva again. Silva's curling ball into the penalty area. Going to see so much of that this evening. Eza Talahi heads it away. Azmoun chases. Piqué jumps in. The ball hits his shins. Iran have it back. Immediately Spanish players all over him. Busquets is there. He's committed the foul. Iran get the free kick.
Yeah, we saw that early cross. Carvajal down the right-hand side. Whipped the ball in. I have to say, Iran... that back line dealt with crosses against Morocco especially well.
Iran 0, Spain 0 in the Kazan arena. And that's a free kick. Mehdi Taremi is pushed in the back there by Jordi Alba. He doesn't agree with the decision, so he just shakes his head. And Iran will get the free kick just inside the Spain half. And set piece, it's not a set piece like that because they're just playing the ball back inside their own half, but set pieces, as we've discovered so far at this World Cup, here we are on day 7, are providing lots and lots of goals. And if you're not going to have a lot of the ball, Chris Sutton, which you're not, set piece is massive for Iran.
No, and they sort of had a long throw. They tried a long throw against Morocco, but they got the goal from the set piece. Good delivery in the main. It wasn't that good against Morocco, but when they get up the pitch, that delivery is going to be crucial.
Sergio Ramos has taken an early whack, but he's okay. The Spain captain, he's back on his feet and he's bouncing around on the balls of his feet on the halfway line, and he's playing a little pass in short here to Isco. Isco prompts Diego Costa. Big, burly, bearded figure of Diego Costa lays the ball off and trots back up to the edge of the area. Spain have it on the right-hand side. I wouldn't be surprised if possession figures this evening would be something like 80% Spain. That's the way I'm sure this game is going to go. But Iran under Carlos Queiroz, that is their modus operandi. Soak it up, soak it up, soak it up. Defend, defend, defend. Let's try and nick a goal, or 0-0 will do us nicely.
Yeah, no, they're just sat on the edge of their 18-yard line with the back 4, 5 in front of that, and Azmoun halfway in his own half. And they're trying to make Spain just play in front of them. Spain looking for those little gaps, those little opportunities to thread a pass.
Isco's going to float a ball in towards Costa. Bayram Van comes, punches away. He's out of position at the moment. Ramos has the ball 35 yards out. Very casually just curls it with his instep. Back onto the boot here of Busquets, who received that pass from Isco. Isco's dropping deep here now. Picks up a little bit of pace 40 yards out. Referee got in the way, but the ball did run to Iniesta. Couple of 1-2s between Iniesta and Alba. That's a third 1-2 they've worked out. Box, and it's a wild swing and a miss in the end from Carvajal, and the ball goes behind for an Iran goal kick. 3.5 minutes played in the Kazan arena. It is Iran 0, Spain 0, and Kazan, Chris Sutton, literally translates as
cooking pot.
Very good.
In Tatar.
You are the man in the know. And on the way to the stadium, actually, something you've got to watch out for in Kazan, there is a giant building that looks like a traditional cooking pot. It's a registry office. You can get married in there, Chris.
Yeah, we did say it could be a recipe for disaster.
Exactly. 4 minutes in. Iran 0, Spain 0. Piqué wins the header. Lots and lots of Spanish possession. They're the ones who brought the Vuvuzelas to this World Cup. There were plenty of them in the hotel lobby earlier on today, and they can damage the hearing if blasted up close. Iniesta on the move, looking for Costa. Move breaks down. Eza Talahi, curling ball, hits the back of Busquets' head. Rezaian, Iran, all in red, white numbers on their backs, playing from left to right in the first half. Opportunity here to try and break through. Vahid Amiri on the ball. Slides it up to the left-hand edge of the penalty area. Spain get back in numbers quickly. Hadj Safi plays it to the left-hand side. Here's Amiri again, tries to pull back into the box. Well cut out by David Silva. And it's over with Amiri again. He goes tumbling down. I think he's going to get the free kick down on the byline there.
I think it would have been a corner anyway. They just lost momentum. It's a good ball from Azmoun. Nice touch first time. And Amiri sloppy on his pass. I think that is a foul. Carvajal in the back of Taremi, I think it is. This is an opportunity on the byline, left-hand side.
Is that Hadj Safi again? Because, I mean, it didn't come from this position, but it was his free kick. that led to the Bouadou's own goal that gave Iran only their second ever win in World Cup history, which is why they're on 3 points in this group, and Spain only on 1. Iran 0, Spain 0, just over 5 minutes played. Some defending for Spain to do. David Silva just standing down by the byline, just inside the box, with that little line of foam marking the 10 yards between him and the ball. Whistle blows. Haj Safi with the free kick into the near post, headed away by Piqué, drops down, and Miri tries a left foot volley, gets it all wrong, and balloons it miles over the bar and behind for a Spanish goal kick.
Big, imposing team, Iran. Good ball whipped in, left-footed, and Piqué attacked the ball well in that near post space position.
Spain bringing the ball forward. Give it to David Silva here, who just plays it back to Gerard Piqué, who took a bang on the back of the head in winning that first header, so he just rubs that rather gingerly. Here's Ramos, who gets onto the ball, rolls it to Busquets. Again, Iran, everyone behind the ball inside their own half. This is the pattern that we're set for. If Spain do manage to get themselves ahead, then I'm not sure how Iran are going to be able to respond. But the longer it goes, Chris, the longer they hold them out, the more it plays into Iran's hands.
And a key man tonight for Iran, Saeed Ezzat Talahi, who didn't play in the first game. He was suspended. Young man, 21 years old, a key player in qualification. He's going to be a big player, just sitting in front of that back line, trying to make the play, breaking things up. Got an important job to do, because that's where Spain are at their most dangerous.
One of the Iranian players has gone down. Guess who's involved for Spain? Sergio Ramos. Immediately our referee, who's a Uruguayan, is coming over to have a word with the Spanish captain. Andres Cunha is our referee, and funnily enough, he was the referee here for the first game in the Kazan Arena for France against Australia, and it's Azmoun who's gone down. So it would be very unfair to draw parallels, of course, with the Champions League final and taking out the star man. No, I know. You're pulling the face already. I know what you're saying. It's just Ramos is always there, isn't he? He's always there.
You'd like him on your team, wouldn't you?
You'd love him. Rezaian, Iran's right back. Long diagonal ball to the edge of the box. Azmoun is back, chests it down. Amiri chases. Piqué under pressure, hoists the ball straight up in the air, dropping down midway inside the Spanish half. 8 minutes played. Iran 0, Spain 0. This constant drone of vuvuzelas in the background as Gerard Piqué, casual as you like, just strolls back with that long rangy strike, collects the ball for Spain. Iran just back off as one.
It's not a high press. They're just dropping in as a unit and making it extremely difficult for Spain. Free kick on the left-hand side. I thought it was a bit of a soft one.
Isco's dribble, he went down, gets the free kick, left-hand side for Spain. Their first proper attacking set piece of this first half. Spain needing a win to get themselves above Iran before the final group games. That's Spain-Morocco on Monday, and it's Iran against Portugal on Monday. Those final group games kick off at the same time.
I thought that was a softer board. Isco went down a little bit too easily there.
Yeah, and you can see one of the Iranian coaching staff getting very heated inside the technical area, although Carlos Queiroz is not getting involved in the moment. He's just concentrating on what's going on the pitch. Free kick Spain. Isco's waiting for the whistle. It blows. David Silva's going to take it there with his left foot. That's a good ball in. Flicked header. Runs wide all the way out for a throw-in to Iran in their left-back position. 16 clean sheets in their last 25 games for Iran. I know, Chris, that they don't play the quality of opposition all the time, but they are very, very solid defensively.
Yeah, and the pride of Asia, they are, and that is their strength. So why change? I think they stand a better chance against Portugal than tonight, but you just cannot rule them out. They're superbly organised, they're superbly disciplined. All comes down to the coach.
Good point to make that, actually, about their final game. 2 chances at this. Lose tonight, beat Portugal in the final game, will still go through. And that's what an opening win does for you. Ramos, diagonal ball with his right foot, headed away, out of play. David Silva chases, scurries across, throws it in quickly to Gerard Piqué. So far so good for Iran in the game plan. Spain were expecting this, though. They know what they're doing. They've come up against this plenty of times before, and they're starting to knock the ball around, just ping those first-time balls around. Busquets floats a little longer pass here out to the right-hand side. Flag is up. It actually went out of play as Vasquez was trying to control it, so that's an Iranian throw.
Tried that switch from left to right a few times now, but Spain had 66% possession against Portugal.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they're going to outpass, outpossess probably every team in the tournament, maybe with the exception of Brazil.
Possibly. David De Gea is looking a lonely man at the moment, standing on the edge of his own penalty area. Not sure he's going to have too much to do this evening. Isco picking it up deep for Spain inside the centre circle. BBC Radio 5 Live at the World Cup. Other results earlier today, if you haven't heard: Portugal 1, Morocco 0. Uruguay 1, Saudi Arabia 0. Nice little 1-2 there involving David Silva. His pass forward is blocked. Busquets comes in and wins a header. Floated to the edge of the Iranian penalty area. Ball drops down. Here's Busquets again. Turns in a circle. Plays it back towards Ramos. Busquets was fouled. Free kick. Good 35 yards out in a central position. What's the referee doing here? He's talking to Hadj Safi and he's waving his arms
I think
incredibly aggressively.
Yeah, but I think Hadj Safi is complaining, and I tend to agree with him. I think Busquets, he went down too easily and was play acting, and the Iranian players are unhappy about that.
I've got an absolute classic for you in a minute, but let's watch this free kick. You are not going to believe this. You are going to think that I'm hanging noodles from your ears with this one, but I promise you I'm not. I absolutely promise you. 12 minutes gone in the first half. Under the lights in the Kazan Arena, Iran 0, Spain 0. Free kick taken short, floated in by David Silva to the far post. Ramos heads it back across goal. Piqué stretches, took a knock. The ball is hoisted high in the air. Costa's underneath it, drops down here to David Silva. 2 Iranian defenders on the floor. Cross comes in from the right-hand side. Piqué was looking to attack that again. Iran have got everyone in their own box now. It's back with Iniesta. Iniesta, as ever, spots the space. It's over on the right-hand side, but Spain can't make the most of that. Busquets heads it sideways here. David Silva's lost it, and it's out for a throw to Iran. Right, listen to this. Gareth Southgate, the England manager, admits he might need to temper any future goal celebrations, having dislocated his right shoulder on Wednesday afternoon after England beat Tunisia. I promise you, there are no noodles on your ears.
Who is your source?
Juliet Farrington, our producer. Official email. Dan Rowan, it comes from, the BBC Sports editor. Don't doubt Dan, I tell you. Played forward by Isco and behind for the goal kick. I mean, that is. I mean, Gareth, I'm sure will take that well, but that is comedy. That is social media gold. That is for a Sun at 5 Live Sport. Is our tag on social media. Iran 0, Spain 0. 3 more commentaries coming your way from the World Cup tomorrow on 5 Live. Denmark Australia kicks off at 1 o'clock. France Peru, I think that'll be really good actually. That kicks off at 4. Enjoyed watching Peru in their defeat against Denmark. And then your 7 o'clock game's another belter as well. That's Argentina Croatia. Shot comes in from the edge of the box, but it's dragged well wide, so David De Gea has nothing to do with that. And Sarifat with the left-footed strike.
Yeah, wrong option, 30 yards out. Azmoun did well initially, not bad in the air, just makes a nuisance of himself, and Sarifat took a shot but dragged it well wide, had a better option to his left. Amiri made a good run.
14 minutes played, Iran 0, Spain 0. So all going okay for Spain. Little camera close up on Fernando Hierro. With the open neck white shirt, dark suit, tall man, jet black hair, 89 caps he won for Spain, and played in plenty of World Cups, so he knows what it's all about. There's a foul on Ezra Talahi from Iniesta. Nice bit of skill there actually from Ezra Talahi.
Really good feet, composed player.
Can you see the Pogba thing? The Persian Pogba thing?
Give him time. It's actually at Atletico Madrid as a youngster.
Busquets for Spain. Iran 0, Spain 0, and we played 15 minutes in the first half. And they are not going to stop blasting those vuvuzelas throughout this game, I can assure you of that. Jordi Alba, low pass across midfield to Isco. Isco with his right foot finds David Silva, dances onto his left, runs diagonally, spots space, keeps going, gives it to Iniesta. Silva continues his run. Iniesta Not quite sure what to do there, holds on to it. Little trick from him, tackled, it runs back to Ramos, barges the ref out of the way as he crosses the ball into the far post, and it's easily caught by Bayram Van. I love Ramos.
Anyone's game. Anyone is game for Ramos. Shoulder to shoulder with the ref. I hope he hasn't dislocated.
No.
Here's one.
Was in his way, so
you're saying he was in his out of the way?
He bumped him, he didn't barge him.
What's the difference between a barge and a bump?
A barge is more aggressive. A bump is just a little nudge.
No, it's not.
It is. That's what I'm saying. Iran 0, Spain 0. Throw-in for Iran. Rezaian, the right back, up the right-hand side. Ball is chipped over the top here, and he's onside. Taremi in space on the right-hand side. Crosses in. He took so long to get that ball in.
Hesitant. It was a good ball. He looked over at the assistant, thought he was offside, dallied on the ball, and he got his head up. Should have whipped that in early. Azmoun had made a good run. Those opportunities, they have to make more of them.
Yeah, they're going to be few and far between. Isco, two defenders in front of him. On the left-hand side, stops in his tracks, plays it to Iniesta. On to Busquets, wide to David Silva. Bit of interchanging on the right-hand side here. Vasquez gets onto the ball, flicks it towards Costa. Tries to take it on the turn, stopped in his tracks. And poor Ali Ganji clears it up to the halfway line.
Yeah, I thought he was the outstanding defender in the first game. Muscled Costa out of the way. Isn't an easy thing to do.
Bumped him or barged him, Chris?
He barged him.
He muscled him or he manoeuvred him. Iran 0, Spain 0. Spain have it again. We're going to be saying that a lot this evening on 5 Live. Gerard Piqué, 10 yards inside the Spain half. Silva. Back now to Busquets. Busquets to Ramos. Bright green captain's armband tied tightly round his left sleeve. Busquets 40 yards out. Little ball up the middle. Vasquez back heel. Comes back to him. Trying to find Costa again. That was awkward for Costa to take. He couldn't control it. And it's cleared away. I know you were really looking forward tonight, Chris, to this battle between Costa and the centre-backs.
Yeah, I mean, it's a big night for Hosseini, young man coming in. I thought Cheshmi in that Moroccan game did exceptionally well.
Here comes Spain again. David Silva's lining one up outside the area. Hit out well, and it's a good block.
First
Bodies in the
really
way.
Opened up there.
Yeah.
The defending the width of the penalty area. Iran are just opened up. Little feint from Silva. Drove 25 yards out. Hammered a shot. Blocked.
I'm not sure which defender got his body in the way. It might have been Ebrahimi, the holding midfielder, but we're just going to see plenty of that. I know that this evening. Iran 0, Spain 0. Right-hand side with Carvajal back to Silva. Spain working it from right to left. Ramos now drives his pass low to Jordi Alba. Iran again, everyone behind the ball on the edge of their box. Busquets first touch, just pokes it across here to Isco. Isco into the feet of David Silva. Silva to Isco, to Carvajal, back to Silva. Now looking for that little slide pass, comes back to Silva, thought about the shot again, gives it to Busquets. Busquets across to Iniesta here. Iniesta looking for that 1-2 on the edge of the box. Vasquez couldn't find him, and Iran clear again. The concentration for Iran, Chris.
Yeah, Spain just up the game, moving the ball, slicker, quicker, faster. That midfield now of Iran getting stretched and dragged.
It's a nice little flick from Vasquez. It didn't quite come off for Jordi Alba. Iran trying to bring the ball away. Taremi's done well. He's won the free kick. I've just seen some wag suggest on social media that Gareth Southgate, having dislocated his right shoulder, the question went, did he go running with Sergio Ramos?
Dear me.
19 minutes played. Iran 0, Spain 0. And from the neutrals' point of view, I know that Spanish fans listening to us tonight, Chris, aren't going to enjoy me saying this, but from the neutrals' point of view, for the excitement point of view, you need this to stay 0-0, or even Iran to get ahead to keep, forcing Spain onto them.
Yep, I'd agree with that. You listen to the support. We've been in the city today. There are thousands of Iranians here, and they believe that win has given the nation so much belief, so much passion amongst the fans, and they'll feel they've got a chance. They really will.
Chris Sutton here in the Kazan Arena, day 7 of the World Cup. Iran 0, Spain 0. Isco prompting again on the right-hand side. Carvajal back to David Silva in his bright yellow boots. Finds Isco. Back to Silva. Silva wide to Carvajal on the right. Looks for the little nutmeg there, but it doesn't come off. It's blocked, but in the end the ball actually goes out for a throw-in to Spain.
That's Ansari Fard. He played so many different positions in the first game. Worked so hard for the team.
Ramos coming forward, plays it wide to Jordi Alba. Back to Ramos. Iran break things up, but Ramos has it again. And then Vasquez goes down 35 yards out in a central position, and Spain have the free kick.
And Spain's fullbacks are so high now. Iran a back six, getting really stretched. There's Ramos. 35 yards out. He's not going to shoot from there, is he?
Well, I have a feeling he might. Let's have a look. Vanishing spray, little semicircle of it goes down right in front of the ball. The Iranian wall is marched that 10 yards back. And now Ramos stands there, good 5-6 yards away from the ball, and gets ready to give it a right good wallop. He does that, it takes a big deflection, it loops high in the air, and Beiram Vand makes an easy catch. Slings the ball out. Oh, that was well read there, and Spain immediately have it back. Now Beiram Vand is well known for his long throws and launching counter-attacks, but he's just given the ball away there. Costa, nice turn on the edge of the ball. Oh, goes down, doesn't get the free kick. And Iran have a chance to come clear with Azmoun. Goes for the nutmeg, he's tackled. Busquets is then fouled by Azmoun in his desperation to win the ball back, and that's another free kick for Spain.
Yeah, I think Iran wanted the ball, kicked out, turned over possession, and that's a worry. As Talahi has gone down, and he looks to be in a bit of pain. He's a key man. He's had a good start to the game in front of that back four. Missed the first game through suspension. He's read situations really well. He's clutching his left knee.
Yeah, loads and loads of players just gathered around the ball at the moment, just outside the penalty area, both the Iranians and the Spanish players. Chris Sutton.
It's in that tackle with Costa. Costa turns, and there's a collision of knees, and I just wonder whether in the challenge he's opened his knee up there.
Well, got a bit of a delay in play here as Spain get ready to take this free kick. This free kick, actually, Chris, is in the best possible position for them. They've won 2 or 3, but this one's just that little bit closer. This is dangerous.
Yeah, and it's level with the right hand post, 25 yards out, maybe a little bit more. Would suit a left footer. David Silva over the ball.
David Silva is there. Jordi Alba is there. Iran are going to be down to 10 men for the time being. 24 minutes played, first half. Ezra Talahi taking his time to get off the field. The good news for Iran is, though, that he seems to be okay. He's going to be back into action. Referee having a word with all the Iranian players. I think about jumping with their arms up there and the danger of possibly conceding a handball. Big Mexican wave going around the stadium. Here's David Silva. What's he got for us here? Deflected off the wall, straight into the arms of Beiram Vand, who makes the comfortable save.
Yes, twice now the wall stood firm. Brave. Takes a slight deflection. Beiram Vand shuffles across, clutches it in his mid-drift.
Clears long with his right foot, right down the middle of the pitch. Piqué heads it away, back towards the halfway line. Ezra Talahi is back in the action, not forward again. Piqué nods it down, and it's headed back by Carvajal to David De Gea. Just slightly distracted in the build-up there. Just one of our listeners getting in touch with us who believes that if Spain lose this game this evening, then they are going to be out of the World Cup, whatever happens in the Portugal-Iran game. I'm not sure that's quite right, because if Iran won this and then won the last game
You're
as
being
well,
a bit picky. They are out, aren't they? Really?
No, but what I'm saying is mathematically, and then beat Portugal, they get to 9 points. Portugal will be on 4, and Spain could still get to 4, and then it would go down to
What
goal
are the chances
difference.
of that?
Well, just got to take everything into calculation. So Spain got a big win against Morocco. That's
I'll
what I'm
take your
saying.
point, but if they lose, they're out.
Okay, you go with that, and I'll stick with the maths. 25 minutes played first half. Iran 0, Spain 0. And if you disagree with me, of course, get in touch. 85058 at 5 Live Sport on
Might be a
social
few
media.
getting in touch.
26 minutes gone. Ramos to Isco. Isco looking for that pass down the line to Jordi Alba. Here's Rezaian. Good powerful run forward from the Iranian right back here, and then plays the ball across midfield towards Haj Safi. Haj Safi wide to the left-hand side. Back to Haj Safi again, and Spain just start to close around Eza Talahi here on the ball inside his own half. Back to Haj Safi, floats one down the line. Not sure that was kept in. It wasn't by Ansari Fat, and that will be a throw into Spain.
Can't get out, can they? Iran and Spain with the high press, but telling Rezaian there, popped the ball, could have ran forward, but just popped the ball across the pitch and got back in his position, defensive position.
Isco down the right hand side. Carvajal's floated ball back in. There's 2 of them there. Ball might in the end come to Vasquez. It won't. And I think Silva and Isco kind of got in each other's way, going for the floated cross into the penalty area. Alba back to Isco. Iniesta floating one over the top. That's not going to work. Bounces behind for the goal kick to Iran. So, Chris, 27 minutes played. Iran 0, Spain 0. Iran are doing the job.
The perfect start from Iran. They're frustrated. Spain narrowed up, made it difficult. Just a hint of a handball there. I think it was accidental. Ibrahimi in the box. But this is what they do. This is what they're good at.
Taking a bit of time over the restart here gives me time to remind you about 5 Live's World Cup Daily podcast. Absolute cracker it was today. If you haven't heard that one, you must. Mark Chapman's interview with Cesc Fabregas in particular, talking about some of the Spanish team that we're watching tonight. I loved his stuff on Iniesta, talking about making the impossible look easy, not needing to move very far, just so clever in terms of his positioning and his passing on the pitch. Some wonderful stuff on Lionel Messi as well. So that'll be available for you tomorrow morning. Hernan Crespo is going to be the featured guest on the World Cup Daily podcast for you tomorrow. So make sure you get it downloaded on your way on the school run or off to work. Perfect little sort of 30 minutes, 40 minutes to listen to, and I can highly recommend that. Iran 0, Spain 0. And Spain having to come from deep here at the moment. Busquets just jogging forward with the ball at his feet, and it's funny to watch almost because no one going towards him, everyone in a red shirt jogging away from him and just allowing him to bring it up to the halfway line. Gives it to Silva, back to Busquets and on to Isco. Isco to Iniesta. Iniesta travelling across the Iran half from left to right towards Silva. The ball just bobbled up off Silva's right boot, but of course he immediately brought it back under control. Ramos deep in a central position, gives it to Isco on the left. Isco quickly on to Jordi Alba, back to Isco, onto his right foot. Diego Costa comes towards him, but he gives it to Iniesta instead. Iniesta to Jordi Alba, back to Iniesta. Oh, Isco, lovely turn and pass. Iniesta looking to thread it back to Costa. It's blocked and out for a corner.
Oh, brilliant from Isco. Little reverse pass, give and go to Iniesta, but cut out, defended well.
Corner taken short. Half an hour played. Iran 0, Spain 0. Great flick from Isco again to find Iniesta. Cross comes in, flicked up in the air. Piqué heads it back across goal, drops down in the box, and it's hooked over the bar by David Silva, who was flying acrobatically through the air, and he just couldn't keep the shot down.
It was half a chance. It was Piqué who kept it alive on the far post, knocks it down, takes a little deflection, and then Silva, the ball bounces too high, but he's put under pressure. There's 3 Iranians. It's Azmoun who puts him under the most pressure. From 7 yards, he just hooks it over the bar.
Goal kick Iran. We've reached the half-hour point of this game, so Iran have an hour left to try and hold Spain out, to try and find a goal of their own. If they win this game, they are definitely into the last 16 of the World Cup for the first time in their history. If Spain can win this game, then they will move ahead of Iran. They'd be on 4 points along with Portugal going into the final round of group games. If it's a draw, there is a possibility all these teams could end up on 5 points come the end of the group.
What would happen then?
Oh, well, we'll get onto that in a little bit. Here's Isco, magic skills, low shot, dragged across goal. The shooting didn't match the footwork.
No.
You're winding me up, aren't you?
He dragged it well wide. So if it's 5-5-5,
yeah. First of all, you look at goal difference, overall goal difference. Then you go to goals scored. Then, if that was still the same, you'd have to go to the head-to-head record between the three teams, look again at the number of points they got against each other, the goal difference against each other, the goals scored against each other, and if we still can't decide it after that, it's fair play, lots, drawing of lots, and that's your lot. So I was about to say let's go to arm wrestling.
Who would your money be on then?
Don't, Chris. What, if it went to 5-5-5?
Yep.
Well, I'd go Portugal and Spain. Oh, come on. Stop it. 14 minutes left in the first half. Isco, wide to Jordi Alba. Back to Ramos. Ramos cushions a little ball to Iniesta. Iniesta with his right foot. Across to Piqué. Piqué out wide to the right-hand side. Carvajal slides one through to Silva. Silva's first touch, then a little pass to Vasquez. Then Carvajal again. Back to Vasquez on the right. Here's Silva. Vasquez gets it back. Piqué standing behind him. So is Busquets. Busquets across to Sergio Ramos. 35 yards out. Little 1-2 with Isco. Pretty much every Spanish outfield player's touched the ball in this move. Jordi Alba can't find Iniesta. And Mehdi Taremi is back there. And he clears on the turn and it's up the touchline. And it won't quite go out for a throw. So it was lucky Busquets chased that to get it back to the De Gea.
This is like a training session. It's here on a Thursday afternoon that most Premier League clubs attack the defence, and the problem Iran have is they just cannot get out. Defending strongly, they need an out ball or somebody to get them up the pitch.
Silva gives it to Iniesta, who suddenly popped up in the inside right channel, which might just frazzle the Iranian brains. Not a great pass from Iniesta there. Couldn't find David Silva, first one that's really gone awry in this first half. But when Iran clear like that, just scoop a clearance away, they've got no one to hang on to the ball. They're going to be exhausted after this. Oh, Isco, that was a sliding challenge from Rezaian. Rezaian feels he didn't catch Isco. He thinks Isco's dived.
He's a fiery character. Rezaian goes in strongly, goes to ground. I think that's a poor challenge, and he's lucky to get away with that. He does catch him. I think Isco sees him coming.
Carlos Queiroz and a couple of the backroom team there shouting in the face of Sardar Azmoun about the job he has to do here for Iran, because I think he's really worried just about how much Iran are giving the ball away. Rezaian takes the throw. It was no foul on Isco. He's not been booked for the dive. That's a poor pass across field. Carvajal read it. He couldn't quite take it in his stride, but he has it back for Spain. He's battled really well there. Gives it to Silva. Silva wide to Vasquez. Diego Costa is lurking in the middle. Silva 1-2 with Vasquez. Vasquez, first time ball into the near post, headed away by Hosseini. Carvajal is under pressure and he's lost it. Here is Azmoun, but he's just beaten to that ball by Isco, who can only knock it backwards into his own half, and Iran get the throw. 11 minutes remaining in the first half, and it's still going to plan for Iran. It's 0-0.
And we saw Iran in this position. They had a long throw, or a sort of long throw, against Morocco. The centre-halves are going forward. Haj Safi will take it, and they'll see this as an opportunity. Load the box, get the ball in, win a knockdown.
Set-piece opportunity for Iran. Wouldn't that put the cat amongst the pigeons if they could take the lead here in Kazan? We don't know the Russian idiom for cat amongst the pigeons, unfortunately. If we did, we will bring it to you here on 5 Live. Long throw. Haj Safi takes a long run, powers that into the near post. Azmoun is there, gets the knockdown, and Spain this time go for the whack clearance long, and the ball is not quite going to go out for a throw. Rezaian chases it all the way back, collects it, goes for the long diagonal with the right foot. Piqué heads it away. There's just a little bit of a breather here for Iran. Haj Safi lets that run out.
I think a welcome respite. They've been under so much pressure, defending so deep, and just trying to keep the ball. It's a good pass.
Right, here come Iran through the middle. That's up towards Taremi. Taremi manages to hold on to this. Back heels it to himself. Spreads play wide to Rezaian on the right-hand side. Cross comes in and it's headed behind. And it's well headed behind by Ramos for a corner. But get one of those crosses right. Get yourselves in front. We could have a massive story on our hands here.
Really well worked. Ball popped out to the right-hand side. And Iran, they load the box. 3 or 4 players in there. It's Ramos who does well.
Look at what's going on around the stadium as well. I wish you could be here with us because red, white and green, everyone on their feet, the flags waving, the vuvuzelas blasting.
Well, this is for a corner.
for winning that
Imagine
corner.
if they score.
Oh, exactly. This place is going to go absolutely berserk. Corner will come in from the right-hand side for Iran. Ansari Far, an away swinger, flicked away at the near post. Oh, Haj Safi's gone down right on the edge of the Spain penalty area, possibly with a dead leg. Now, what are Iran going to do? Keep playing or knock the ball out of play? They're going to keep going. Don't want to lose it over there. No, and now they knock it out of play. He's spotted his man down, and he's knocked it out for a throw. I have to say, Chris, it's not quite turned out as we thought. I had a slight fear that Spain might be Tehran, Iran apart, but they're not doing it.
No, they're not. Do you know what? This doesn't surprise me. It really doesn't surprise me. What we saw today from Morocco, and when Iran beat Morocco, it was because Morocco weren't very good. They were desperately unlucky against Portugal. It wasn't for Ronaldo in Portugal, he certainly wouldn't be in the position they are, and that is a worry because Haj Safi there has gone down. Nobody around him, and he has been a key player in that left-back position.
Just before he went down there, Chris, he bumped into his own man, which put him off balance. Majid Hosseini, they were both looking at the ball, not at each other, and I think that's why he fell awkwardly. But you're absolutely right. Haj Safi, he's struggling. He's really limping heavily here. And the referee is pointing him to head behind the dead ball line. And again, we're looking down at the Iranian technical area, and Carlos Queiroz deep in conversation with one of his players. But that looks sore for Haj Safi. That is what I looked like earlier this morning, Chris, when I went for my run and the knee gave way halfway around the Kremlin.
I'd already finished mine by then.
You didn't wait for me, did you? You said, I'll give you 10 minutes, come down and we'll go for a run together. I came down and you'd gone.
Everything for a reason.
7 minutes remaining in the first half. Haj Safi is trying to get back on the field. Iran 0, Spain 0. This is a fascinating watch and hopefully a fascinating listen on BBC Radio. Oh gosh, what's going on now? The keeper Bayram-Vand is claiming that Diego Costa has trod on his toes in the penalty area as he was about to clear the ball. Now Costa was in his face, he's not deliberately trodden on his toes. Bayram-Vand is up on his feet. Spain will feel this is a complete time-wasting exercise, and it's turning into a bit of a...
Yes, but what they have done is they have disrupted the Spanish. The Spanish are aggravated.
Right.
I have to say, Bayram-Vand looking a little bit sheepish.
He is. He's picked himself up. I'm not sure whether he's claiming it's deliberate or not, but Spain getting very wound up by this at the moment. Diego Costa pulls the referee to one side and just makes sure he gets his point across. Iran 0, Spain 0. Let's have a little look on the replay, Chris. Just have a little look at this.
He does stand on his toe. I think he threatens to stand on it before he actually does, but come on, big tough goalkeeper.
I know. But you know what I also think, and you can't, I mean, only Diego Costa would know this. He's looking directly in his eyes, but I think that's... He did mean to do that.
Yeah,
I think he did mean to. Yeah, okay.
Why is he getting involved?
I have no idea. Haj Safi can't get back on, so Iran are going nuts about this. They're down to 10 and Spain are coming at them. Iran 0, Spain 0. Silva plays it to the right-hand side. Cross in from Carvajal. Block comes back to Carvajal. Low ball into the edge of the area. Whack clear by Ebrahimi. We're back to 11 against 11. Sergio Ramos miscues. Volleys another ball up in the air. Busquets is under loads of pressure from Ibrahimi. He's managed to work it back to Piqué. He was fouled. Piqué takes the free kick quickly from inside his own half. And we've only got 5 minutes left in the first half. You've got a massive smile. You're loving this, aren't you?
Absolutely loving it. This is David against Goliath, isn't it? And they're holding out.
Ramos floats it Wide to the right-hand side. First time ball back to David Silva. Silva gives it to Piqué. Piqué runs forward, 40 yards from goal. Wasn't quite sure what to do, just had a U-shaped spread of Iranian defenders in their red shirts ahead of him. Now it's out with Jordi Alba, left-hand side. Cross comes in, bounces back to Isco, right on the corner of the Iran box. Iniesta just gives it back to Ramos. Ramos wide down the left-hand side to Alba. They're just trying to unpick him here as Iniesta floats one into the box. Well read by Taremi, clears, and Ramos is there again. Controls it down to Iniesta. Iniesta across the field to Silva. Silva onto that left foot outside the box, goes for the floated ball to the left-hand side. Isco controls it beautifully. First time into the area, onto his right foot, just trying to widen the angle. Low ball in. Silva gets the shot in, and he was blocked brilliant at very close range. The defender's right on top of him there to make the block.
Yeah, I think it was Azatalahi doing his job. They're so narrow, but there's so many bodies in the box, but they are throwing their bodies on the line. I mean, this is a great watch.
Brilliant.
It really is.
Brilliant. I said this before, Chris. 4 years ago, I watched this game, this exact game, Iran against Argentina in Belo Horizonte. This is exactly what Iran did. They basically said to Argentina, you have the ball, we'll keep you out. And they held them and they held them and they held them. And then Messi popped up in the 91st minute and whipped one into the top corner. And Iran were undone, but they very nearly got there and had their own chances in that game as well. Here's Isco again for Spain, looking to try and make the breakthrough just before half-time on 5 Live. Busquets to Isco. Isco's little flick to Iniesta. Iniesta down the line to Alba. Alba takes a touch. Cross comes in. Knocked down by Vasquez. Diego Costa's there back to goal. Gets the pass wrong. Knocks it out of play. Iran throw.
Awful touch. He is rattled, isn't he? A look of frustration. No space, no time on the ball. But I tell you what, then, they haven't been, I'm not going to say not, because they might be, they haven't been rash in their own box.
No.
Standing the ground, making good decisions. When it's there to win, they go and win it.
That's what they do. That's what Carlos Queiroz has perfected. And sitting ahead of Spain in this group, starting tonight on 3 points. Draw tonight. You'd have Portugal on 4, Iran on 4, Spain only on 2, and Morocco on 0, already out of the tournament. Going into the final round of group games. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Spain pressing again. Ramos wide to Jordi Alba. Alba's cross is blocked and behind for a throw. Iran, from their point of view, they've just got to keep the intensity and the concentration in the defending up for the next 3 or 4 minutes, get themselves into the dressing room, reset, and then try and do it all again. Iniesta to the edge of the area. Lucas Vasquez couldn't get the pass back to Iniesta. Azmoun up against Piqué inside the Spanish half. Piqué takes a slight risk, brings it down on his chest. Azmoun is trying to knock him off the ball. Azmoun complains he was fouled. I don't think he was. Do you?
No, I think it was shoulder to shoulder. It was just one long punt down the pitch, and the fans are standing up in the sand.
Iran 0, Spain 0. Chris Sutton with us on 5 Live. David Silva working into a shooting position, goes for the cross to the far post, couldn't quite find Alba. Ball drops down on the edge of the Iran area. Ebrahimi, high bouncing ball, and he whacks it away. Gerard Piqué is there for Spain in these white shirts, some of the off-white shirts, red numbers on their backs. David Silva again on that wand of a left foot, rolls it to Ramos. Ramos gives it to Isco. Isco onto the right foot, goes for the curler. Referee got in the way there. He couldn't quite line up the shooting position he wanted, and the ball's gone out for a Spain throw. One of our journalistic colleagues, Chris Bascom, has tweeted, gamesmanship from Iran against Spain is shifty, obvious, and pretty ghastly so far. But hang on, you see, he didn't let him finish. Is it wrong to be loving every second of it? You see, you jumped in too early. He's loving it.
What's Russian for that?
What, for jumping in too early? We'll get Ksenia on that at half-time. Throw in Spain. Last minute of the first half. Iran 0, Spain 0. Mapping out exactly as we thought this game might. But Spain are under a bit of pressure here because Portugal beat Morocco earlier on today. Isco plays it wide to Vasquez, who ran into Hadj Safi. Thinks he's won a corner. He hasn't, though. He'll complain. And the ball's behind for a goal kick. 3 minutes of added time, Chris Sutton.
I think it was a poor decision. Really was. The assistant, 10 yards away, misses it. Bayram Van taking his time. Iran just get to half-time?
That's the question.
He's not had a lot to do though, Bayern Van. When has he had to make a serious save, a big save?
He hasn't. Against Morocco, he had to make a couple in the game, but Spain actually haven't forced him into a proper save as yet. Piqué heads the ball forward towards the halfway line. Eza Talahi tries to slide one through. Doesn't get there, gets another chance. Ebrahimi goes wide right, and the ball goes out for a Spanish throw on that left-hand side, which they take quickly and give to Ramos. Ramos jogs forward, rolls it to Piqué. 2 minutes remaining of added time in the first half. Iranian fans, I'm sure, when they're not blowing the vuvuzelas, are definitely biting their nails. They've lost it here in a bad position now. Isco, 25 yards out, lovely pass here. Ball given to Silva on the left foot, deflected and wide. Now that was the clearest sight of goal, and I think Silva thought, had it not been blocked, that was going in.
Just lost concentration, Iran. It's a nice little touch into Silva's path, 16 yards out, shot blocked.
Iniesta's cross, that is blocked. Doesn't even make the penalty area. This is like the 94th minute of a game. Iran, everyone back on the edge of their box. Taremi volleys it away, and it's a throw into Spain on the right. 90 seconds remaining in the first half. Iran 0, Spain 0. And you would argue, wouldn't you, Chris, this is a good spectacle?
Yeah, I would, because the Spanish are clearly superior.
Here comes Iniesta just jinking and jiving into that penalty area. It's rolled back to Isco. Isco wide to Jordi Alba. Alba was looking for Iniesta. It might come down to him. Iniesta goes down. The referee had such a good view of that, and he's given the free kick the other way. And you're not letting me finish again.
Well, you said Iniesta went down, but the
Chris,
Persian Pogba.
You're going to love this. We've got one for putting the cat amongst the pigeons. If Iran take the lead in this game tonight, in Russia you would say you would be getting the goat into the vegetable garden. Now I'm not going to put that into commentary because people will think I've gone absolutely stark raving mad, but I like that.
I understand that.
You do. You do where you come from. To get the goat into the vegetable garden. Free kick goes Iran's way, just inside the Spain half. 20 seconds to play in the first half. Another Iranian player goes down. Another free kick goes to Iran. Last action of the first half. It's Iran 0, Spain 0.
And
they're taking it quickly down the left-hand side. Amiri here in space. Has a chance to pick a cross. Can't get it in. Piqué clears it. Can Iran score? Just before half-time. Added time is up at the end of the first half. The ball's floated to the edge of the Spain box. It's headed straight up in the air by poor Ali Ganji, and there goes the half-time whistle. We knew exactly what to expect, but Spain haven't forced a save out of the Iranian keeper. David Silva's had one effort which might have been going in, which was blocked, and Diego Costa's rattled Chris Sutton.
Yeah. And it's very much game on. The Iranian fans on their feet applauding their team. They have defended superbly. It's up to the Spanish to come up with some answers.
Can Iran get the goat into the vegetable garden, Mark Chapman? That is the question for the second half. Iran 0, Spain 0 in Kazan.
They've defended brilliantly, Chris, haven't they?
They have, and this is what they're about. I mean, you have to credit the coach in terms of the way he set them up, organisation, discipline. They haven't dived in, they've stayed on the feet, they've kept the shape superbly well, and they have frustrated a top team. The goalkeeper hasn't had a lot to do in terms of making saves. I can't think of one really important save, so it's job done. You just, going forward, they need to maybe offer a little bit more. They wasted that opportunity at the end to load the box and whip a free kick in, but this is very, very much game on, as it was against Morocco.
Their play acting is pathetic, though, isn't it?
Oh, do you know what? I don't think they've been OTT.
Hang on, Chris.
I don't think. Well,
hang on. What I'm going to say to you is, you and I had a discussion before this game about Pepe throwing himself to the floor earlier on today.
I don't think it's been as bad as that.
You were all over him for that, but Bayram Van there, the keeper going down when he's...
Well, yeah, I mean, that was poor, an isolated incident. But, I mean, they're trying to buy time. They're trying to waste time. They're trying to do everything they can in their power. Pepe and Ronaldo today, you're right, though. I thought
Well, Rezan did it as well, didn't he? I mean, there's 2 or 3 instances where you just think, come on.
I'm not saying it's all right. Far from it. Let's focus. Why are you always looking at the negatives? Let's focus on the positives. How well Iran have defended, how well structured they are, and you know what? They may just cause an upset.
Well, I did put Guillaume Balaguer on social media. Their defending is brilliant, but their play acting is infuriating. To which one of the first replies I got from Chris was, I like it, it's Barca Real Madrid standard.
Oh, no. It's not. I think the picture of the game was a moment in which Sergio Ramos looked at Queiroz and said, what kind of football is this? With his arms raised. And Queiroz came back shrugging his shoulders and going, just give me Iniesta and give me Silva and we'll play different. He's maximising the potential. I completely agree with Chris. Maximising the potential of the side by breaking play, by being clever, by slowing things down, and by defending with a revolutionary 6-4 nil, which Spain are being unable to break. And we are also revolutionary. We're playing 2-3-5. It's 8 players attacking, but we don't know how to attack this side. Twice, 2-3 times. It's been 3, especially in the right-hand side with Lucas Vázquez, with Silva, with Carvajal. There's been a bit of a combination, but the problem is when Lucas Vázquez finds in a 1v1, he doesn't have the space to beat the defender, and if he puts a cross in, there's only one player to attack it. So we haven't been able to attack this Iran defence well, and because they've been so clever, we haven't been able to have the right pace so everybody feels comfortable with the ball and start trying things. So it's a 10 out of 10 for Iran, and we have to be much better, perhaps even bring in Marco Asensio and Aspas that will bring something completely new to this team.
Chris Waddle has been watching it as well.
I think Asensio's got to come on. Vasquez hasn't really had a lot of joy in that, right? Isco's been very good, I've got to say. I think he's their best player. The defence haven't had anything to do with as De Gea. Yes, they get the odd counter-attack. Need an injection of pace, and if you're playing Diego Costa and you're getting in areas, sometimes you've just got to say, all right, it's not the perfect pass and it's not going to be everything to feet, but sometimes we've just got to try and put it in behind and hope he gambles and he gets on the end of one. And the thing what frustrates me about, I love watching Spain play. I think they're brilliant to watch, and Iran will get all the credit, but you wouldn't pay to watch Iran, would you? Let's be honest. So I think give them credit, but why don't Spanish players shoot? They never shoot from 25 yards or 20 yards or 18 yards. They're getting great positions. David Silva's tried it, probably because he's been playing in England quite a few years and he has to do it in England. They all do it in England. But when you watch Spanish players, they're getting great positions and they never shoot.
We don't force errors, do we? From doing that, there's no deflections or anything. The fear, perhaps, is having learned from say against Switzerland, for instance, when we lost in this kind of game, is that a shoot could actually become a really dangerous counter-attack. So perhaps it's better to just get to the box in control way, trying to find pockets of space that we haven't been able to, and then at that moment shoot. But having said that, we're not great at shooting from outside the box anyway.
Look at the technique the players have got. You can't tell me they can't shoot from 20 yards.
Chris Waddle, Guillaume Balaguer with me in the studio here in Red Square, and Chris Sutton and Alistair Bruce Ball are in Kazan, where it is currently Iran 0, Spain 0. The second half on the way. First, here is the BBC News at 7 minutes to 8 with Richard Foster.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet, this is BBC 5 Live.
The government says the police and CPS will consider possible criminal charges over the deaths of more than 450 elderly people at a hospital in Hampshire. Reports found they were given powerful painkillers at Gosport War Memorial Hospital due to an institutionalised regime of shortening life. The Lib Dem MP Norman Lamb called for the inquiry.
There has to be a criminal investigation conducted by another force, not the local force. And also, we need to make sure that all those people who, in the words of Bishop James Jones, closed ranks, blocked the families getting to the truth, they have to be held to account as well.
Theresa May has avoided a defeat in the Commons over Parliament's role in the Brexit process. Despite threats of a Conservative rebellion, the government won a vote against an amendment calling for more safer MPs if no deal is agreed between the UK and Brussels. President Trump's due to sign an executive order banning the separation of migrant families at the border with Mexico. It follows international criticism of the policy. Congress is due to discuss new immigration laws. Our North America correspondent is Gary O'Donoghue.
President has always said that his hands are tied, that he can't change that policy, that it's about court judgments, it's about what Congress has done previously. So this would represent a 180-degree U-turn on his part if he signs some kind of order. So we'll see exactly what the text is.
Parents are being urged to check bottles of cough syrup because they could make their children ill. Experts say a problem with the ingredients could cause mould to grow in the medicine. 8 products are being recalled as a precaution. There's a full list on the BBC News website. The female governor of a high-security men's prison has been treated in hospital after an unprovoked attack by an inmate last month. Claire Pearson isn't expected to return to work at Long Lartin Jail in Worcestershire until July. And the EU has approved tariffs on billions of euros worth of American products from Friday. It's all in response to US levies imposed on European steel and aluminium.
This is BBC 5 Live on digital, smart speaker, smartphone and tablet.
On the roads, eastbound M4, just outside Newport, the road's closed and there's queuing traffic, all because of an accident between junction 24 at Coldra and junction 23A, causing queues as far back as junction 25A at the Grove Park roundabout. Staffordshire and the M6, one lane's closed and there's slow traffic because of a breakdown between junction 14 at Stafford North and 13 at Stafford South. S6 and the clockwise M25, queuing traffic because of an earlier accident between junction 27 at the Brook Street roundabout and the M11 itself, causing congestion as far back as junction 26 at Waltham Abbey, but all lanes have been reopened. And on the M1 in London itself, queuing traffic and the entry slip roads closed, all because of accident investigation work at junction 2, Five Ways Corner. Queues currently as far back as Henley's Corner, and on the A41 Watford Way to the A5150. Richard Foster, 5 Live Traffic.
5 Live Sports. The FIFA World Cup Russia.
Trippier to take it. Maguire with the header. It's nodded in by Kane! Harry's done it for St George. He's won the opening match for England in Russia.
Next, England take on Panama. Sunday, 1 o'clock kickoff.
That's what these games are about. It's a World Cup. You go into the last second and, absolutely buzzing.
Ecstatic when that goal went in. England deserved that.
The FIFA World Cup.
On 5 Live and across the BBC. Live from Russia, this is 5 Live Sport with Mark Chapman.
And the latest World Cup Daily is with Cesc Fabregas. You can download that now. If you subscribe, it means you'll get it automatically sent to you every single morning. Tomorrow's World Cup Daily will have Hernan Crespo on it. Away from the World Cup, England broke the world record earlier for the high score in a women's T20. They set South Africa a target of 250 for 3 in their Tri-Series match at Taunton. Henry Moran can tell us how they're doing with the ball.
Well, they're doing very well indeed, Mark. 82 for 3 is the South Africa score midway through the 13th over. That target, a massive 251. We've seen the record for the highest score in a women's T20 international broken twice today, as England almost take another wicket. The ball just lands short when New Zealand in the first match of the day hit 216 for 1. That broke the record the first time. England's 250 for 3, including 116 from Tammy Beaumont. Extraordinary hitting, 42 boundaries in the innings. South Africa 83 for 3 in the 13th, chasing 251.
Commentary continues on Sports Extra and also on the BBC Sport website, and there are in-play clip highlights on the BBC Sport website as well. So Michael Stoute became the all-time leading Royal Ascot trainer as Poet's Word shocked strong favourite Cracksman to win the Prince of Wales Stakes, and Phil Mickelson has apologised, saying he's embarrassed and disappointed after putting a moving ball during the US Open on Saturday. As Ali mentioned during that first half, there's some big injury news coming out of the England World Cup camp this evening. Gareth, I shouldn't laugh because it's actually quite a serious injury, but Gareth Southgate has dislocated his right shoulder whilst out running earlier today. The team doctor has warned him to avoid any further punching the air celebrations. Southgate is quoted as saying, I'm just a bit gutted because I was on for my record 10k time. Chris Waddle, that's all we know. But can you imagine the reaction in the team room when he walked back in with his arm in a sling? I mean, we talk about morale and team spirit. That's the kind of thing that players will latch onto, and it will improve team spirit, won't it?
Yeah, they will have a laugh and joke about it. And Gareth's got a decent sense of humour. I don't think he's going to be angry if people are laughing at it, but it's just a funny accident. And as you say, they're a happy camp anyway. And I'll just add to it.
I'm not advocating that managers go out and dislocate their shoulder to try and improve team spirit. If you've got a smart speaker, by the way, you can transport yourself to Russia every day during the World Cup. You just ask your speaker to take me to the World Cup, and if you say it today, this is what you'll hear.
So we're here outside the stadium in Ekaterinburg. We've got a group of Peruvian fans doing keepy-ups with a little red and white ball, and I've seen more Peruvians here in Russia than any other nationality. They reckon over 40,000 Peruvians have come here, and I got to say, I love the kit, Dion. Peruvian kit, white with the red sash from the shoulder down to the waist.
It just looks cool, doesn't it? You know, they've got it with their football kits on, with their jeans. I might try and get one of these shirts if I can.
Now, David has joined us, Peruvian fan who's travelled here to Russia. So many of you guys are here.
We're overwhelming. I think we hear numbers from 40,000 to 60,000. You know, it's 36 year drought. That's what it means. We're all excited to be here. We were all World Cup virgins. We're here. We're ready to play. We have faith, and we're going to beat France tomorrow.
Now, even to come from Western Europe to Russia, it's a long journey. But for you guys from South America, I mean, just describe the journey, how long it's taken, what happened along the way to get here.
You know, from Peru, it takes most people do Lima to some city in Spain. Usually that's about 12 hours. Then you got to take another layover. But, you know, we don't make pounds, so we get paid in soles, or some people who live abroad making dollars. But, you know, it's a long journey, many hours, jet lag. We have a 8-hour difference, but we're here. We don't care. We're here to see our team for the first time. I'm 35, so I never seen my team in a World Cup. This is what it's all about.
So what's the atmosphere going to be like then? Tell us what you're going to be singing. Have you got any special songs for special players? What kind of songs?
We have many.
Ya lo ven, somos locales otra vez. Y ya lo ven, somos locales otra vez.
That is if you go to your smart speaker and say, take me to the World Cup. And Peru against France tomorrow is at 4 o'clock, and we will obviously have commentary of that. The Spanish team are in the tunnel. We can see them on the screens. What do you want to see them change, Guillaume, in this second half?
We need to bring something different, somebody brave, somebody who will try. Not Azpilicueta, who we're watching in the screens now, but something like Marco Asensio, because he can shoot, he's able to pass, he's patient as well, but if you find him 1v1, he will dribble, he will try things. It doesn't matter if he loses the ball, but he has to try. At the moment, we're not seeing the two players that have to add that width in Lucas Vázquez and Jordi Alba, really the full-back. So, yes, we need to surprise them that way. I will also add Iago Aspas instead of one of the midfielders, because Iago Aspas, being a forward, can do what Chris was asking before, just trying things from outside the box.
As regular listeners will know, when was it? Friday night, after the 3-0 draw against Portugal, you just sort of sat in the corner of the studio rocking and wailing, it's a draw, it's a draw. And eventually you calmed down and you were fine about it the following day. If this stays 0-0, you'll be wailing it to draw again, won't you? But you might not calm down this time.
I've just seen the table. Do you know what the table looks like right now?
Portugal and Iran points. On 4 and Iran Spain on 2.
With 2. Imagine they draw, Iran and Portugal. I haven't made the calculations yet, but that's 5 points. We win against Morocco, 5 points as well, and maybe just...
It would be goal difference then, wouldn't it? I think.
Come on, Spain, just 1 goal. Just give us something. That's it, enough.
I think they'll get a goal. Listen, they haven't created a lot, and they will tire slightly. I know they're well organised, well drilled around, but I think Spain have got enough, and I'm sure with the substitutions they'll make in the first 15, if they don't, I'm sure they'll get the win.
Back to second half commentary with a few Russian phrases thrown in. Chris Sutton and Alistair Bruce Ball.
Do you want another one, Mark, before you go?
Well, as long as you've saved some for later. I don't want you to peak too soon.
We've got a couple more to come. This is a basic one, which I've already put out there on Take Me to the World Cup on the smart speakers. If you make an outlandish prediction for a game, so if you before this game said it was going to be Iran 3, Spain 0, that in Russia would be called a granny's guess.
A granny's guess?
Because you're never going to get it right, basically, because you've had a shocker in the prediction. Now, I think that's very rude to grannies. Now, hang on, they've kicked off and Iran are coming forward and Piqué is heading the ball clear. Now, we don't want to get caught out talking about grannies' guesses and Iran stick one into the back of the Spanish net. They didn't manage to do that. More Russian idiom on the way. but only when the action isn't in the crucial areas of the pitch. BBC Radio 5 live at the World Cup, day 7. And Guillaume Balaguer, by the way, absolutely right, Chris Sutton. That's what we were discussing in the first half. If this finishes a draw, there is a possibility you'll get Portugal, Iran and Spain all finishing on 5 points come the end of the group. Mark Chapman was also absolutely spot on that initially that would then go to goal difference and goal score. But we'll deal with all that when the time comes. No changes made by either manager at half-time, and guess what? Iran have retreated inside their own half, and here comes Spain pressing onto them. Cutting in from the left-hand side is Isco. Isco's cross is behind for a goal kick. I thought that might have taken a deflection, but it's behind for a goal kick. But listening to the boys back in the studio, Chris, there's no faith in Iran here to keep doing this for another 45 minutes.
Oh, look, you would think the longer the game goes, Iranian players will tire, and then the superior opposition, they will create a chance or two. That's where you need your goalkeeper to stand up and make a save or two. But Spain haven't done enough in the first half. They haven't created anything clear-cut, and all the credit should go to Iran.
81.1% possession for Spain in the first half. One shot on goal, on target.
Yeah.
Those are the stats.
That's not what counts, is it?
No, exactly. Iran 0, Spain 0. I'll get you through the two team lineups again in just a second. Iniesta stretches, can't control a ball inside the centre circle, goes scampering after it and then throws his head back in frustration because Spain have given the ball back to Iran. I have to say, those close-up shots of the Spanish players, as you'd expect, they look very calm in the tunnel at half-time. A couple of them were having a word with the referee, I imagine, talking about the possible time wasting in this second half and the play acting. Here's Carvajal for Spain, who started at right back this evening. Iran dropping deeper and deeper. Piqué, wide to Vasquez, back to Piqué. Iran standoff. Piqué is 30 yards from goal here. He gives it to Busquets in a central position. On to Isco. Isco lays it off to Busquets. Back to Iniesta. Iniesta down the left-hand side. Low cross comes in behind Diego Costa, and Iran managed to get that away. Ramos chests it down to Busquets. Gives it back to Ramos. Jordi Alba in lots of space on the left-hand side. Iran 0, Spain 0. Iniesta, can he unpick the lock here? Maybe with a pass like that, because he's given it to Silva. Silva on the dribble. Good tackle on David Silva there. Really good defending. That's Eza Talahi.
Yeah, once again, he has been the outstanding player for Iran. But just touching, I saw something on social media, touching on the Spanish players in and around the referee. You can't have sympathy, can you, for Diego Costa, Sergio Ramos, Busquets over the years. They've all been at it.
In terms of the play acting, you mean?
Yeah.
Cross comes in from Vasquez. That is over the head of Diego Costa all the way through the Iranian penalty area. Rezaian chests it down, can't keep it in, and that is a corner to Spain. And Iran have to start this second half with exactly the same intensity they finished the first half. Sometimes difficult to do, isn't it, Chris? Pick up again.
It is, but they will be pumped full of adrenaline. The first 20 minutes, absolutely key in this second half.
Corner for Spain. Iran 0, Spain 0. In towards that near post. Flicked on, it's dangerous. Oh, it's blocked on the line. The pace was taken off it. Gerard Piqué thought he was going to score, but it just took a little hit off someone and it killed it stone dead.
I don't know whether Bayram Van would have saved it.
Coming again, Isco, left-hand side, good skill, skips into the area, crosses, pulled back towards Diego Costa. Busquets will hit one! Bayram Van safe. Oh, and he palms it away lying on the floor, knocks it behind for the corner, and the free kick goes against Spain because Vasquez tried to tuck in the rebound, which he was entirely entitled to do, but I think he's caught Bayram Van in the face.
He has, but do you know what? I don't know what Bayram Van initially was doing. Busquets inside of the foot, 25 yards out, tries to bend it into the far top corner. He should have just stood there and caught it. He's gone for the old camera save to his left-hand side. And all he does is he pokes the ball up in the air and then while sitting on the floor, hooks it away. What is he doing?
It could be one of those second halves. It really could be if things like that are going to carry on happening. Fernando Hierro holds his head in his hands.
He'll be holding out for Hierro.
Oh, Chris. 5 minutes gone, second half. Iran 0, Spain 0. Piqué at full stretch. And obviously Spain have just got to keep an eye on Azmoun as well. Sadar Azmoun, star striker for Iran. I'm aware I haven't got you through the two-team lineups in the second half. We've not really had a break in play. Here's one, so let's do it quickly. De Gea in goal for Spain. Carvajal, Piqué, Ramos and Jordi Alba. Busquets, Iniesta, Vasquez, Isco, David Silva and Diego Costa through the middle. Give you Iran's lineup in just a second. Iran 0, Spain 0. That's mad sort of seething drone of the vuvuzelas. Thousands of Iranian fans desperately hoping the impossible can happen here in Kazan. Jordi Alba gives it to Isco. Back to Iniesta. Isco beats his man on the outside. Crossing, Diego Costa can't quite get a foot on it. And again, Iran just gets something on it to clear. Ball drops down to Jordi Alba. Edge of the area, little bit more intensity about Spain here at the start of the second half. Iniesta's forced backwards, plays it to Ramos, long way out. I think he thought about the shot for a second. Slightly slices the pass here. Vasquez keeps it in play, gives it to David Silva. Lovely stuff from Silva. Back to Vasquez, into the box. Carvajal lays it back and the shot's over the bar from Isco.
Oh, much better from Spain, moving the ball with more purpose. Quicker passes. I think there would have been some harsh words at half-time. Shot well over the bar.
The Iranian goalkeeper Ali Reza Bayramvand has just come running 20 yards out of his penalty area to have a conversation with one of his defenders. As soon as he did that, Sergio Busquets came charging forward to speak to the referee to say, look what he's doing, let him get on with the game. 6.5 minutes gone, second half. Bayramvand in goal for Iran. Rizaian, Hosseini, Pour Ali Ganji and Hadj Safi at left back is the back four that's been keeping Spain out so far. Ebrahimi, Ezzatullahi and Amiri, three sort of central midfielders. Taremi and Ansari Far to the wide players. Sadar Azmoun through the middle. 11 potential national heroes for Iran. If they can win this game, they're into the last 16 of the World Cup for the first time in their history. Spain would then need Iran to beat Portugal in their last game to even give themselves a chance of nicking through if they beat Morocco. Throw in for Iran, left hand side. Amiri takes into the near post, drops down, and Ansari Far into the side netting. Goodness me, the Iranian fans thought he'd done it. He smashed it, he caught it so well, the net rippled. If you were in the wrong part of the stadium, you would have thought it was a goal. It's not, it's 0-0.
De Gea isn't saving it. It's all it takes. One knockdown and Sarafati hammered the ball into the side netting. De Gea was nowhere, he was rooted. It's all it takes from Iran.
Torture for Spanish fans at the moment. 8 minutes gone, second half. Iran 0, Spain 0. Spain obviously with all the ball, all the quality, all the skills, all the moves, but as Chris says, long throw, knockdown, bish bash bosh. And that can be enough sometimes. Corner for Spain. 8 minutes gone, second half. Iranian noise goes up again. Trying to get their team to clear this ball away. Azmoun heads it away. I thought Iniesta might be able to stop that on the edge of the box. He couldn't, but he gets there first and plays it back to Jordi Alba. BBC Radio 5 Live at the World Cup. And it is enthralling and absorbing as Iniesta on the dribble again. Plays it into Diego Costa on the turn. Oh, I think that's an own goal. Diego Costa runs away to celebrate. He was on the turn waiting to shoot. The defender came in to make the challenge, and I think he's put it past his own keeper, and Spain have found a way through. 9 minutes into the second half, Iran 0, Spain 1, and I think it might even be the birthday boy Majid Hosseini winning only his third cap, who's had a horrible moment there. He had to make the challenge, but it's his shot. No, it's not. It's Rizaian. Rizaian, the right back, has got his foot on the ball, and it's, well,
I think it comes off Costa, but inadvertently Rizaian's making a challenge. He actually kicks it against Costa's right knee. Costa doesn't mean it. How cruel is that on Iran? A complete fluke from Diego Costa. Iran don't deserve that. They really don't.
That is one for the dubious goals panel, because you're absolutely right, Chris. Rizaian comes in, makes the challenge. The ball then rebounds. It might actually have hit Hosseini. It might have hit Costa. At the moment, the goal is being given to Diego Costa. He has his third goal of this World Cup in Russia. Well, I mean, let's see what Iran can do from here. But as soon as Spain scored, you felt that might be that. And only a couple of minutes before that, Ansari Far very nearly put Iran in front. So it's not always the way Spain get their goals, but Costa on the turn forced the mistake, header into the Spain penalty area. David De Gea comes out and grabs it.
And when you think of that chance for Ansari Far in the box, all on his own. The ball sat perfectly. What an opportunity. And Spain straight down the other end, but they've got lucky. I don't think they've deserved it.
5 Live at the World Cup. Third game of the day today. Portugal 1, Morocco 0. Uruguay 1, Saudi Arabia 0. Uruguay already into the last 16 with Russia. Spain now winning this game. It will put them on 4 points level with Portugal going into the final group games in this group. Amiri into the feet of Azmoun, and Ramos with some really good defending. Sticks with him there down the inside left channel. Then plays a very risky chip pass from the right back position. And Spain have given the ball away. Busquets slides in, and that will go behind for an Iran corner. Iran 0, Spain 1.
And what a response from Iran. Taking the game to Spain. They're saying, yep, you're 1-0 up. We're going to show no fear now. You talk about set pieces. Big opportunity. 2 centre-halves. Hosseini, poor Alaganji go forward.
And Sarifat with the corner from the left-hand side for Iran. Close to David De Gea, way too close to David De Gea, who makes an easy catch, all in green. Spain in the white kit this evening. Red stripes down the shoulders, down the sides of the shorts, rather than playing in white boots as well, which gives it a nice matching feel. And Iran all in dark red. Spain have the breakthrough, they have the lead. Iran 0, Spain 1. Diego Costa credited with the goal, got himself in the position, was on the turn, he was threatening. The challenge came in on him, and it looks like the ball has bounced off his knee and flown into the back of the net. Keeper couldn't do anything about that, Chris, could he? No chance.
No, and I mean, initially I think Costa did well to get on the half turn, but Hussein was doing his job, got round, and that was just bad luck.
Free kick Spain. They really will take control of this game now. It's going to be about 35 yards out, over on the right-hand side. Vasquez was fouled. I mean, if you're Iran, Chris, there's absolutely no use crying over spilt milk, is there? Or, as they say in Russia, don't cry about your hair when they cut your head off. Which I think's a little brutal, isn't it? That's a little brutal.
A little Russian.
Free kick Spain. Isco curled into the penalty area. Far post, good header away and behind for a corner. Spain leading 1-0.
I'm not so sure that was interpreted correctly.
What are you talking about? I've written that down word for word.
Say that again.
Don't cry about your hair when they cut your head off. It's the same as it's no use crying over spilt milk. Yes, Ksenia's giving us the nod.
Yeah,
I am correct. She's the expert. Iran 0, Spain 1. Short corner taken quickly. Isco can't get on the end of that. And Iran clear. Could be 2 or 3 now, do you think, Chris?
Well, do you know what? Iran just have to stay in the game. 1-0, anything's possible. I think they'll stick to the game plan. They won't come and press Spain high. They'll show more intent going forward.
Threads it through to David Silva. Silva plays it wide here to Isco, who's hugging the touchline there. 2 or 3 step overs. Oh, he skinned the defender into the penalty area, still going, running right towards the near post. Rizaian jumps up, the ball looping in the air, wins the header, nods it down to Ebrahimi. And now Taremi is able to bring it away for Iran, but Ebrahimi under pressure here, closed down, he's given it away. Silva can't quite win it though. Here he is again. Taremi did well there under pressure from 2 defenders, and Iran have played out, and they can do it, you know. Eza Talahi plays it out wide. Azmoun wants it forward in the channel. Ramos read it, intercepts it, blocks it, and keeps it for Spain. Gives it to Iniesta. Oh, Iniesta was slow and caught in possession there. And I tell you what, here's an opportunity for Iran. And Sarifat on his left foot, 10 yards outside the box, chips it towards the far post. Azmoun chests it down. Has he done enough here to keep the ball? He has. Right-hand side, cross comes in towards the far post. Header down from Taremi. It's just wide and behind for a Spain goal kick.
Taremi got up really well. 10, 12 yards out. Cross from the right-hand side. No real pace on the cross, so he has to generate his own power. Gets up, stretches those neck muscles, and powers ahead. That's not far away.
Vuvuzelas blasting as loud as they have been all evening. Iranian fans roaring their team on. They will still have a shot at this, even if they lose tonight in their final group game. If they could beat Portugal, that's not impossible either, by the way. Azmoun trying to get on the end of a ball through the middle. 3 Spanish defenders around him. Scores from here. He'll be doing very well. He's tackled in the end by Isco. Great defending. Isco's lost it though. Iran bring it forward. That's a foul, surely, on Iniesta. It is. By Iniesta, I beg your pardon. Free kick 25 yards out. This is a chance.
It's a good response from Iran, being a little bit braver, getting bodies forward. When the ball goes into Azmoun, though, they need to get players closer to him. It's too isolated. But this is an opportunity, a long way out.
Yeah. Trying to see who's getting on the ball here. Rezaian is there. Oh, it's Haj Safi, isn't it? Haj Safi, who curled in the set piece that got Iran their goal in the first game. I mean, let's not forget that as well. Mark Chapman was making the point. Scored against Morocco without having a shot in the second half and won the game 1-0 because they led through an own goal. Behind to Spain here tonight in Kazan. Just under half an hour to play. Haj Safi or Rezaian. It's the two fullbacks who are standing over the set piece at the moment. And players getting ready to make their runs to the far post. Hosseini is there. Azmoun is there. Ezzatullahi is there for Iran. They are taking their time over the free kick. Iran 0, Spain 1. Referee getting ready to blow the whistle here. One final discussion between the two Iranians. Is it me or is it you? Haj Safi runs up, leaves it. Rezaian curls it in. Loads of players attacking the ball. Oh, it's in! Ezzatullahi scores, but the flag is up. It won't count. The Iranian players are going berserk. They just haven't seen that the flag's gone up. And Spain want to take the free kick and get on with the game because Iran haven't got anyone else left on the pitch. Now it will be checked. The VAR will check every incident that involves a goal or a penalty or such like. The offside flag went up. We'll have to have a look at it. But the decision on the pitch at the moment is that the goal is disallowed. Ezzatullahi has not scored. And Spain, well, they were racing off to go and score a second because Iran had nobody home. Big yellow sign up on our TV screens, checking offside, leading up to goal.
Well, what I would say is the flag went up very, very early.
Now, at the moment, we don't have that replay. So all we are watching at the moment on our screens and in front of our eyes is players watching and waiting. Iran desperate for this to go their way. The referee has his hand to his ear, he's waving everyone away and he's saying, let me hear this, let me hear this. Are they going to recommend a review? Are they going to change the decision? Spain lead 1-0. It was a dangerous set piece. Ezzatullahi drove it home. And the referee just standing surrounded by players. Now, if this is going to change, he's going to draw an imaginary rectangle in the air with his fingers. He's still listening. He's still waiting. He's moving away. He's walking into the penalty area very slowly here. I think he's a bit of a showman, you know. I think he's quite enjoying this. And hang on, he's going to blow the whistle. Oh! He's drawn the rectangle and it... Oh, hang on. No, not given. Free kick for Spain. Now, I was sure, having done the rectangle, that meant the decision would change. I guess he meant it was checked. The VARs can make that decision because it's not subjective. They've decided it was offside. The goal does not stand. The check is over. For a second there, I was convinced that meant the goal was going to stand.
Yep. Just
means it was checked and the VARs have confirmed that the linesman was right. Good spot from the assistant referee. Iran 0, Spain 1. Shows you again though, Chris, they could score.
Well, that's all it takes. Look, a threat from set pieces, but they're having a go.
Yeah, Azmoun, here they come again. Ansari Fat dribbling forward, might get taken off the ball here, he doesn't. Plays it wide to Amiri, got to get the cross in into the near post. Piqué was so careful with that one on the half volley. He was really worried it was going to slice off his toe and end up in his own net. I think flag has gone up again, so that was offside. Free kick for Spain. It is all going on in Kazan. 3 more World Cup commentaries coming your way tomorrow. 1 o'clock Denmark, Australia. 4 o'clock France against Peru. 7 o'clock Argentina against Croatia. That game is also on BBC television. England back in action, by the way, I'm sure you already know this, against Panama on Sunday in the lunchtime kickoff. Full commentary, of course, BBC Radio 5 Live. The England manager has a dislocated shoulder, so if England do score some goals in that game, he will not be leaping in the air and celebrating. He's hurt himself jogging as Gareth Southgate, and you might hear a bit about that on the World Cup Daily on the podcast tomorrow from 5 Live. Silva plays it to the right to Vasquez, crossing, all keeper came nowhere near it. Ball bounces in the 6-yard area. Rezaian clears on the spin, right-footed. Jordi Alba Sideways pass to Busquets. Busquets chips it wide to Iniesta. Iniesta lays it off to Isco. Isco to Alba. To Busquets. Across the pitch here to Carvajal. 25 minutes to play. Iran 0, Spain 1. Carvajal back to Busquets. Now Azmoun has stayed forward this time, so Iran have 9 outfield players behind this. Iniesta, cross to Isco, back to Busquets. Busquets looking for the run. He slightly overhit the pass. Carvajal can't catch it, and it's behind for the goal kick.
Yeah, good try, good spot from Busquets. Carvajal gets on, that ball played just inside the fullback, but overhit. But to Iran's credit, here we go. Just seeing it again.
Was it 19? Oh no. It hit 15. It hit Eza Talahi, didn't it, in an offside position?
I think it took a slight deflection, hit Eza Talahi, so it was the correct decision.
And actually, Chris, that is a good point to make about, we don't want to talk too much about VAR, but actually the majority of the decisions where they've actually looked at them, they have got them right.
Yeah, and do you know what? The assistant's flag went up early, they checked it, it was the right thing to do.
We're
come
happy.
to the correct decision, yep.
Ramos almost caught out in possession. Sliding in was Taremi. Didn't win the ball. Spain have it again. So final group games in this group. Spain play Morocco in Kaliningrad on Monday. And Iran play Portugal in Saransk. As things stand, Portugal and Spain will be on 4 points apiece. Both, as things stand, with a goal difference of +1 at the moment. And Iran will be on 3 points with a goal difference of 0. Busquets playing across to David Silva. Silva 15 yards inside the Iran half. What a noise from the Iranian fans. It has not stopped all evening. Their team are behind though, and they're getting ready to make their first change of the game, but they've still got some defending to do here. Isco into the penalty area. Iniesta took that absolutely beautifully. Dummies the defender, pulls it back, and Iran eventually get it through. Poor Ali Ganji just volleys it behind for a corner to Spain. So it's going to be a change of pace actually, because Spain are also now going to make a change. Koke is going to come on for them, and coming on for Iran is Milad Mohammadi, who was their regular starting left back in qualifying for Russia 2018. And Haj Safi has had some injury issues in this game, so I presume, Chris, that'll be a...
Has he gone down again?
Oh, right, well, there we go. That's what that'll be. That's what that'll be. Race for the World Cup Golden Boot is hotting up. Diego Costa, no, I'm being told not to say that. Juliet had put something in front of me.
Well, it is.
That said the race was hotting up, but it didn't have Ronaldo on 4. I was about to read out that... Well, in fact, I hope my brain would have clicked into gear and I wouldn't have got it wrong, Chris, but... After some of the things I've said on this trip, you wouldn't be too sure, would you?
There's been 1 or 2, yep.
1 or 2 silly things said. Although you were telling me the other day that potentially the most poisonous insect in Great Britain was the daddy longlegs, if they knew how to use their poison, which we then discovered was a widespread myth. So you're not totally blameless, are you?
Was it an old wives' tale?
We'll have to find out how you say that in Russian as well. Yeah, we'll find out. Isco's corner. Iran have made the change. Mohammadi is on. Iran 0, Spain 1. 20 minutes just over to play here. Haj Safi trudges off, and Koke's waiting to come on. That's an interesting corner. Roll down the line. Oh, Iniesta plays it back. Ramos shoots, and can Spain scramble it over the line? What a scramble that is. Spain are appealing for handball. Piqué was trying to finish it from a yard out. And I think, is it Rezaian again, was lying on his back, and Piqué was just kicking the ball against him 2 or 3 times as hard as he could to try and force ball and man over the line. But I love the innovative corner.
Oh, it's a clever corner. Rolled into Iniesta on the byline, who pulls it back. Ramos fires the shot. How brave there, the Iranian defenders. Rezaian actually lies on the ball.
He's
Piqué taking chunks out of him.
That is the definition of a goalmouth scramble. That was ridiculous. Koke comes on for Iniesta. No surprise there. 20 minutes to go. Iniesta takes a breather. Going further into the tournament, Chris Sutton, I guess we have to see them against the big teams. Would you start Andres Iniesta?
Would I start him?
I
think that he will start. He's a firm fixture, but I don't know. I don't think he's the player which he once was. That's inevitable at 34 years of age. He's going to play his football in Japan now, which tells you that Barcelona, I don't think really fancy him anymore. So they may look to play a different option. I don't think his legs are what they were, if I'm being totally honest. His brain works well. It comes to us all.
There's a Talahi, important challenge on the halfway line for Iran. They've got 20 minutes to try and salvage something from this game, which means keep Spain out and find a goal themselves. They have had one ruled out, correctly ruled out, via VAR, by the way, for offside. Eza Talahi thought he'd scored. Iran 0, Spain 1. What a clever little flick from Silva, just over his shoulder. Knew Koke was making the run, and Diego Costa actually there was slightly on his heels. Poor Ali Ganji went running past him, and then the Iranian fans love it because Bayram Van threw the dummy to Costa as if he was going to clear it. He didn't. He just dribbled it past him, and the Iranian fans enjoyed that. I think Kazan is still going to be very noisy tonight, Chris, even if Iran lose, because it has been
I don't think that's
very noisy. Our very own Mark Chapman tweeting while we're commentating. Great corner from Spain, even better goal mouth scramble.
He'd like that sort of thing, wouldn't he? Rough and tumble.
Yeah.
Not
Tell you what,
not a lot of skill.
The defending was slightly clumsy. In Russia, you might say. What might you say, Chris?
You might say it's like an elephant in a pottery shop.
That's exactly what you'd say.
That's what they say in Russia.
They do. Like an elephant in a pottery shop. It's another one we've really enjoyed. The Russian idioms coming at you thick and fast on 5 Live this evening. Iran 0, Spain 1. Into the last 20 minutes of the game. Jordi Alba trying the little nutmeg pass through the legs of Rezaian. Can't find David Silva. Koke's there on the left, makes the block, and the ball goes out for a throw. And in terms of winning the group, goal difference could be important. Spain might fancy another couple of goals if they finish level on points with Portugal to decide who meets Russia, who meets Uruguay.
And which one would you prefer?
I'll tell you. When we get a break in play, I'll give you my answer to that question. Let me just have a little think about that. Vasquez is right on the touchline here for Spain. Would I prefer to play Russia or Uruguay in the last 16? Busquets floating it through. Carvajal out to Vasquez. Clever from Vasquez. Outside of his right foot. Appeals for handball here. Doesn't get it, but wins the ball back on the right. Takes on Ansarifat. Vasquez still going. Down to the byline. Eventually he's tackled. And I think Ansarifat might be coming off in a second for Iran. The cross goes into the back of Carvajal and out for a throw. I would prefer to play, if I was Spain or Portugal or Iran, I would go for Russia. I would rather take Russia on. You?
No, I think, did you not watch Uruguay today?
Yeah, I saw bits of Uruguay today, Chris. Good team. A lot of good players in there.
Come on, they were poor today. And Russia have the momentum, don't they? 145 million people behind their team now.
They're not all playing
22 republics. They had the first man in space, Russia.
Here we go.
They're backing their country. That's why you take Russia. They're like a juggernaut. They've steamed into the last 16. The country are behind them. First man in space, first woman in space. Peter the Great.
What's that?
Even the Terrible.
What is that? Even the Terrible is not playing in the last 16.
He's not, but how impressive have they been?
I agree, they will have momentum. They will definitely have momentum, but I just think once we get to the knockout stages, class will tell, Uruguay will step it up. My argument is not as strong as yours because it doesn't have the passion, it never could. You love Russia, and I've got a feeling you might even want to move here after this World Cup. That is how much you're enjoying it. 15 minutes to play. Iran 0, Spain 1, and Iran have done the right thing here because they brought Ali Reza Jahanbakhsh, who is a goal scorer. 21 goals in the Eredivisie last season for AZ Alkmaar. Did nothing in the first game against Morocco, but does have that little bit of magic in his boots.
Yep, and he's one who can see a pass, slide a pass. He has to make an impact.
Right, well here he is on the ball now, bringing it forward for Iran. Amiri's crossing, good one beyond Asma. Oh, and the stretch at the far post from Taremi. He couldn't slide it in. He was
inches away, and that would have been tricky for David De Gea. Attendance this evening, 42,718, is very nearly capacity in Kazan.
I'm going to say it. I don't care. I'm supposed to be impartial. I want Iran to score. This place has been electric today. They deserve it. Effort, endeavour, guts. They're laying it on the line, and they are having a go.
Vasquez sprinting forward for Spain. Goodness me, that was Hosseini came rocketing into the challenge there, took him out. Free kick for Spain on the edge of the box. Here's a stat from Match of the Day. Iran's last 3 World Cup goals have all come in the final 15 minutes of matches.
There we go.
We are into the final 15 minutes of this game.
Yeah.
Iran 0, Spain 1.
Hosseini, he comes off his feet, points to the ball. I think it is the correct decision. You just can't do that. It's probably lucky. Don't think he was given a card.
I don't think he was. He scissored him. He's got the ball, but he's chopped his legs together like a pair of scissors and taken him out on the edge of the area. Right, 15 minutes to play. Spain want that second goal. Goal difference important. It would make the rest of this game much easier because Iran still have somewhat of a threat about them.
Not more than somewhat of a threat. Since the goal, they're having a right go.
They are.
They've had a goal disallowed. They're inches away from scoring there.
Free kick Spain. Cantankerous Chris Sutton with us on 5 Live.
I'm just telling the truth.
You are, Chris. Silva or Isco with the free kick. Busquets stands in the Iranian wall, joined by Vasquez. They're trying to make a little hole there that either Silva or Isco's going to curl one through. Bedlam inside the stadium at the moment. Free kick Spain, leading 1-0. Referee again trying to make himself heard, I think, above the noise of the crowd here. And now we're just about ready to go. Whistle blows. Who's it going to be? I'm going for David Silva. Here comes Isco, shoots into the wall. Why do I do that? Got it completely wrong. Silva, Carvajal, Marco Asensio getting ready to come on for Spain with 13 minutes to play. Spain holding their lead, and Jordi Alba decides, let's just take a breather here, let's turn it round, let's come back to David De Gea, and De Gea side foots the ball out of the way to Carvajal on the right hand side. Vasquez, we believe, is coming off, and Marco Asensio, the 22-year-old playing in his first major tournament for Spain, is going to get on the field. David De Gea is under a little bit of pressure, plays a short ball to Ramos, into Busquets. Oh, it's clever. Nice, it was under pressure, but it was well done by Spain. And now Silva is streaking free, running from the halfway line, looking for Costa, who powers into the penalty area. Good sliding challenge on him by poor Ali Ganji, and what a brilliant bit of work from Rezayan to keep that in by the byline.
And that all came from a high press from Iran, but Spain, as they do, so comfortable, competent on the ball, get through the midfield.
That is a foul. Amiri's gone in hard on Carvajal there. That might be the first card of the game, isn't it? I think. Gets booked. Vahid Amiri gets booked for the foul on Dani Carvajal, and Marco Asensio waits to come on.
I think Amiri's saying, that's my first one, but he's halved him. It doesn't matter whether that's your first or your fifth. It's a bad one.
12 minutes to play, second half. Iran 0, Spain 1.
And Spain taking the time, moaning in the first half, but now when it suits.
Well, if I was going to have empathy, Chris, I can understand the frustration of playing against Iran, but that is what they do. That is the way they go about it. I think you've got to give them credit for their performance tonight.
You don't like underdogs, do you?
I do. Oh, I can't read this out. This is a 5 Live listener. Chris Sutton, no, I can't read that out. Chris Sutton on 5 Live Sport is the best thing about this World Cup thus far. Fearing teams playing Russia because of their momentum, having the first man in space and Ivan the Terrible. I mean, whoever that is.
That's my son.
Exactly. Koke plays the ball out to the left-hand side. Spain totally in control, but still only lead 1-0. That's the crucial thing. Diego Costa, good layoff. Isco couldn't quite take it in his stride. Ibrahimi is bringing the ball away. Scruffy old goal, though, that Spain scored to get ahead in this game. Isco stayed down, injured. Play hasn't stopped. He's picked himself up. He's okay. World Cup Daily Podcast, all the reaction and analysis to today's games will be there for you in the morning, so subscribe to it in your podcast app. Hernan Crespo, special guest tomorrow ahead of Argentina-Croatia, one of 3 commentaries you can hear on 5 Live, and Jermaine Genus will be appearing on Robbie Savage's World Cup breakfast on air from 8:30.
I bet he's looking forward to that.
Oh, he will be. He will be, Chris, definitely. 10 minutes to play. Iran 0, Spain 1. Koke.
Still in it. Still in it.
Yeah, they are.
Just one more chance.
Yeah. And Ansarifat as well could have scored, couldn't he, before Spain got their goal. Piqué lobs it wide to Carvajal. On to Silva. Silva to Asensio. Back to Busquets. To Isco. To Koke. Relentless passing from Spain, keeping it moving. Iran out on their feet. Isco goes sliding through a couple of defenders there, crossing towards Isco. Tries to take it on the turn. He tumbles. No chance of a penalty there. He wasn't appealing for one either. And Iran bring the ball out. Good run made down the right-hand side by Rezai, and Ramos read it brilliantly. Intercepted it. Ramos now hurtling down the left wing for Spain. Looking for Isco. Finds Costa. Isco might have been offside there.
Must be offside.
He was. Iran 0, Spain 1. This has been good fun, Chris. I've enjoyed this tonight.
Well, going into the last 8-9 minutes in the game, Iran, I think they would have taken, still being in this tie.
You wanted to know what the Russian analogy, the idiom was for old wives' tales, when we tell old wives' tales. Apparently it's a tale about the white bull calf. Iran coming down the left. Taremi's cross in blocked. Here's Amiri now. Left hand side. Oh, brilliant. Nutmegs Piqué. Cross to the far. Oh, he's headed it over. What a chance for Iran. Taremi at the far post, leapt high. And as he was in mid-air, the goal was gaping. De Gea wouldn't have saved it. And he's powered the header over the bar. It should have been 1-1.
That was the moment. That was the chance. Amiri nutmegging Piqué, and he stands up a beautiful ball. He must be 4 yards out. Tamiri, he just has to get over and he scores. What an opportunity.
8 minutes to play. Still alive in Kazan here. Spain 0, Iran 1. Silva's given the ball away. Amiri stabs it to his left. Here come Iran again. Jahan backs, looking for that ball to Mohammadi down the line. Was never going to get there. Behind for the goal kick. Here's one for you, Chris. Watching this, so Iran's game plan to begin with was what it was. Let's hold. They've shown more ambition and they've shown they could score, so why not start like that?
Yeah, it's a good point. I think that they've looked at it. They've looked at the sides they're playing against Spain. They're thinking, we can't go toe-to-toe. That will suit you better.
Yeah.
But what they have shown is that they can play. And do you know what? Looking at, they may lose this one tonight going into the Portugal game. They are in with a right shout, and this one isn't over just yet.
Monday, those final group games in Group B.
Portugal got lucky today, didn't they? Got lucky.
1-1-0 against Morocco. Cristiano Ronaldo scored.
When you talk about people throwing themselves to the floor, Pepe, come on, pathetic. Ronaldo went down too easily. Why is VAR not looking at that?
Iran 0, Spain 1. We'll try and find out.
They shouldn't be playing against Iran.
Cold flannel for Chris Sutton after the game, just to try and calm him down a little bit. Stephen Purvis, one of our listeners, says the BBC is turning back the years with the SAS commentary team back on the BBC. Alan Shearer, BBC One, Chris Sutton, Radio 5 Live, bringing the World Cup to life.
What would we be? SBB?
Oh, we'll have to work one out for that. Asensio overran it, got brought down, but it was too late. He lost the ball already. Throw into Iran in the left-back position. 6 minutes to play. Can Iran find something to get themselves a point? If they did that, they would then be on 4, Spain would be on 2, Portugal would be on 4. As it stands, though, we're going to have Spain and Portugal on 4 and Iran sitting on 3. Iran getting ready to make another change. Saman Ghoddos plays his club football for Östersund. Arsene Wenger was impressed with him when they met them in the Europa League this season. Isco to Busquets, onto Koke, saw Taremi. What a chance Taremi had a couple of minutes ago. Now here comes Spain with Isco. Diego Costa making a move in the middle. Isco dribbling, can't find Costa, pokes the ball behind him. Costa trying to bully his way into getting that ball back. It is a foul. It's a free kick, Iran.
Well, when you look at this game, strip it back, Iran have had the best chances. Spain got lucky with the goal, and it's been Iran who've had the bigger chances in this second half. And that one, Taremi, come on. if he scores that, I mean, what we saw the goal which was disallowed.
Yeah.
People on the pitch.
Yes. Eza Talahi with the disallowed goal, correctly ruled out, offside. VAR making that decision in this game. 5 minutes to play. Iran 0, Spain 1. Are Iran finally going to run out of puff here? Are Spain going to find a second? Because they're on their way forward again menacingly with David Silva. Ball tied to that left foot. Sensio tackled. Throw in go Spain's way because the last touch came off Mohammadi. And now Iran are going to make the change. Vahid Amiri will come off. And it is Saman Godus who will come on, who actually has a senior goal, well, in a friendly, to Sweden for his name. Played in a couple of friendlies for Sweden, scored against Slovakia for Sweden, but is now a full Iranian international, having changed allegiances. So, there you go. 5 minutes to play. BBC Radio 5 Live. Busquets, back to Koke, Iniesta, nonchalant. Ball into the penalty area from Asensio, couldn't quite find Iniesta. He just stuck a leg out there and he just put the perfect touch on it to lay it into Asensio's path. Iran streaming forward with 4 players. Now this is where they could get caught. Busquets floating the diagonal ball onto the chest of Costa. Instead he uses his head, nods it down here to David Silva, up to the edge of the area. No one in the box for Spain at the moment. Costa lays it off to Koke. 3.5 minutes to play. Koke, back to Jordi Alba. Isco. Jordi Alba again, Spain knocking it around for fun. Busquets, Isco has to stretch, but he kills it stone dead with his right foot, and then just outside of his right foot finds David Silva's cross is blocked, and it's out for a Spain throw.
They know they need this goal, so that they may as well risk throw bodies forward, caution to the wind.
We don't know what that is in Russian, do we? To throw caution to the wind. There's one more for Ksenia. She's going to have to sort that out.
Reeling them out.
3 minutes left in the game, and it's a Spain throw, and they're quite happy to take their time here. Rodrigo, the Valencia striker, is getting ready to come on. It's a win that will put Spain level on points with Portugal at the top of the group going into the final group games. Iran will be on 3 points. Portugal play Iran, Spain play Morocco.
What a story that'd be, Queiroz against Portugal.
Yes, very good, Chris.
I fancy Iran, I do.
Against Portugal?
Yeah, I do, yeah.
What, a 1-0?
And you're looking at me like... You're looking at me like I'm an idiot again. But they have been so impressive in this second half.
Carvajal on the ball, but Busquets was fouled in the centre circle. 2.5 minutes to play. And Rodrigo will come on for Diego Costa.
Here's the Whinger. Trotting off now. No urgency, no rush. This was the other way.
One of our listeners, Tony Coffey, has asked, what is the Russian for couldn't hit a cow's backside with a banjo? In terms of the Iranian finishing. Now, I think that might be a step too far for Ksenia, but we'll see what she can do. Come up with the goods so far. 89th minute of the game, BBC Radio 5 Live. 3 more World Cup commentaries on the way tomorrow. 1 o'clock Denmark, Australia. 4 o'clock France, Peru. 7 o'clock Argentina, Croatia. That's also on BBC TV.
Wow.
Throw it for Iran, left-hand side.
Well, that wasn't Busquets-like, was it?
Just passed the ball straight out of play, sloppy. Carlos Queiroz looks on, frustrated. Goal disallowed. And Sarifat with the ball smashed into the side netting. Scruffy goal they've conceded as well. Little bit unlucky, even though Spain have had all the ball. Isco driving forward. Godus comes sliding in from the side. Takes him down, but no free kick. Ball over the top towards Taremi. Intercepted here. Jordi Alba's on it for Spain. We're into the last minute of the game. Added time to come. Wouldn't have thought more than 3 minutes of that, possibly. Here's Asensio, and Spain will close this down. They'll kill it. Portugal will be happy here, though, I think. Chris, I mean, obviously they would have liked Spain to be held or even lost, but the fact that Spain have only got 1 and that whole thing of goal difference, trying to win the group and whatever.
Yep, and Portugal will be happy, but Iran know what they have to do.
They do.
And we have seen, when they have played with bravery and taken the game to Spain, they're not bad.
Trailing 1-0. The fans have been unbelievable inside the Kazan arena this evening. Busquets is playing the ball sideways out to Isco on the left-hand side. Isco on the halfway line gives it to Busquets, and Iran are chasing shadows now. Isco floating it over the top, looking for Asensio, headed away by Mohammadi. Iran will get to that first 4 minutes of added time for Iran to try and somehow scramble an equaliser out of this game. And they do have the ball, and Eza Talahi has played it wide right to Rezaian, the right back. That was a tired challenge from Isco there. Just committed himself. Rezaian's gone past him. Left-footed cross in. Headed up in the air by Azmoun. De Gea comes, he'll get there first and grabs it with both hands.
Just a little bit high. Rezaian on his left foot, hanging a ball up. Azmoun on the diagonal, gets up, tries to knock it down. De Gea comes out and takes it comfortably.
Spain have it again. Running this game down at the moment. 30 seconds of added time played. 3.5 minutes to go. Iran 0, Spain 1.
I'll tell you what Iran will get out of this game. They may not get any points, but they will have so much belief that they have gone toe-to-toe with Spain in this second half, and they've given them a real run for the money.
Ball played in field here. That was nice from Rodrigo. Gave it to Asensio. Rodrigo looks sharp here. Plays it back to David Silva. Play the advantage, ref. Silva shoots, hits the bar. That doesn't matter. Yellow card goes to Ibrahimi, who wasn't booked in the first game, so he's okay. Yes. Free kick, Spain.
Spain just slowing the game down. A poor challenge. Ibrahimi, he's trying to get his leg across the Spanish player. No rush now.
Just looking at the group tables here at the moment, I mean, this isn't going to matter too much, but you've got Spain on 4, Portugal on 4. I believe Spain are ahead of Portugal at the moment, purely because they've had one fewer yellow card. But let's not get into that. Ksenia's still working hard on our translations for us. She's got 3 minutes and counting. So Iran 0, Spain 1. Spain free kick, looking for this second goal towards the end of the game. They've been in control, they've had scary moments, they've had to work hard, but they're heading for their first win at this Russian World Cup. Isco with the free kick, not a good one. Headed away. Interesting ball from Koke, not sure what he was doing there, just screwed a first-time volley wide. Rezaian down the right-hand side. Taremi looks exhausted trying to get to that, looking for the covering run of Rezaian. Jordi Alba clears first time. Rodrigo goes chasing here. I wonder what he's doing
there. Throw in there on the halfway line to Iran.
Bayram Van just bent down and picked the ball up outside the penalty area. That confused me somewhat. We've got 90 seconds left here in Kazan. Ibrahimi wide to Rezaian. Rezaian's crossing too close to David De Gea, takes it on the bounce.
Not a good crossing position halfway into the Spanish half. Need to try and work something there. Cross from a higher up position.
Gerard Piqué clears with his right foot. Rodrigo tries to stand strong. Poor Ali Ganji, the centre-back, buffets him off the ball. Majid Hosseini plays it to the right. Last minute of the game now for Iran to try and do something. Ball is headed in by Jahanbakhsh. Ramos is there to head it away for Spain. A deflection off Diego Costa's knee this evening, the difference between Iran and Spain in this game. Carvajal leaps in, heads it out for a throw. Long throw coming up for Iran into the penalty area.
We saw the chance, didn't we? Ansari fought, and he pulled it just past the near post. This is it. This is the game for Iran.
30 seconds to play. Milad Mohammadi will take this long throw. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 red Iranian shirts inside the penalty area to try and steal a point. Mohammadi kisses the ball and points to the sky. Oh, it's a somersault. What's he doing? He somersaulted over the ball, was about to launch it, stopped it, and the ref says no. And now he's thrown it short. He's thrown it short to Ibrahimi, crosses it into the area. De Gea comes and punches it away. Good fist on the ball, and it's chased out by Jahanbakhsh. Everything going on. It's all over. Spain have done it. They've got their first win at this World Cup. And Iran's players fall flat to the ground, not in despair. I think through sheer exhaustion. They held them out for as long as they could. They got undone in the end by an unlucky deflection. They had a goal ruled out for a very tight offside, but it means Spain really are back in control in this group. They're where they want to be. Portugal on 4 points, Spain on 4, Iran on 3, going into the final group game. Good fun that, Chris Sutton.
It was lucky Spain. slumped to the floor, the Iranian players. They should feel proud of their performance, full of guts, determination. But do you know what? They gave it a go second half, went a goal behind, fortuitous goal from Costa, and then they started to attack and get belief. And that chance from Taremi, he's got to score the big moment. They didn't take it in that big moment, and Spain, 3 points, big win for them in a high pressure game. But Iran, they're still in this World Cup, and I tell you, I fancy them against Portugal.
They still have a chance in the last game against Portugal. Those games will be on Monday. It has finished in the Kazan Arena after a heck of a lot of drama. Iran 0, Spain 1.
Right, we'll talk about the game. We'll do loads of analysis. The World Cup Daily on the way from 9 o'clock. But before we go any further, that throw-in at the end. Just to explain it back to people, because it was brilliant.
Well, I've seen sort of trick artists do this before. So there's quite a long space here between the advertising hoardings and the touchline, and he's launched himself from the advertising hoardings. He's flipped over. So he's done a full somersault in the air to try and get more impetus, and was about to try and release the ball like it was coming out of a cannon, and he stopped himself, and the referee waved at him and said, look, we're not having any of that.
He pulled out.
And then took
a dummy run.
And then took a short throw in.
And then took a short throw. Yeah, exactly.
He needs to do more core work.
You think Iran will cause Portugal problems, do you, Chris?
What, and you don't?
No, I do.
That second
no,
half
I do. It was simply a question. I wasn't looking for a fight.
Yeah. Do you know what? I mean, Ali touched on it in commentary. Iran had a game plan. They sat deep and they let Spain come onto them. But do you know what? In a funny sort of way, the Spanish goal may have given Iran that real belief, because they had a go at that stage and they showed no fear. They took the game to Spain, who have, far more superior players, and they created the big chances in that second half. And Taremi, it was wonderful skill down the left-hand side by Amiri, little nutmeg on PK, but he has to score those big moments. That was a moment where Iran, draw level with Spain, and he missed it. And the game fizzled out a little bit, but it was Iran still with the momentum at the end of the game. I felt so sorry for them lying down on the pitch at the end, but they had given absolutely everything, and I think they'll cause an upset on Monday.
It was the possession stats, which have just gone off the screen, at a very, very annoying point, but I think it was around 68% for Spain, 32% for Iran. 825 passes by Spain, 239 by Iran. Chris Waddle watching in Red Square, and myself in Guillaume Balaguer, whilst Chris Sutton and Alistair Bruce Ball are in Kazan. They're very odd at the moment to Spain, aren't they? For all the credit you can give Iran defensively, Spain are very odd.
They're just playing spells. They can't manage the game. They get a goal in front, or they have a spell of 15 minutes where you actually think, this is Spain, we know what they're about. Passing the ball, great angles, they move everybody. That team can't get the ball, can't get near them. And this Spanish team, what I've seen, it's like 15 minutes great, 15 minutes off the pace, lose with rhythm, lose with shape, type of, and they look very vulnerable. So if you're on about going to win the tournament at the minute, where Spain are in the top 3-4 fancied, you wouldn't put them in there. They just look too vulnerable for me.
Yeah.
Do you know what it is, I think? We don't pressure high very well, and this is what was the main thing for us in the qualifiers, because when you do that, of course, you recover the ball early and you're able to attack it, or you recover it and pass the ball and keep the possession. What happens at the moment is that we allow teams to come to us. Portugal did that after the first goal, having started the second half quite well. We put a gear up, but after we conceded the goal, we allowed Iran to come to us, and we don't defend that well in our own box. What we are good at is to try to recover the ball high up the pitch. Well, if that doesn't happen, then we are at the mercy of even Iran.
I think, unfortunately, there's a few players who's playing who it's not really their game, or they are getting on a bit now.
Yeah.
And he's maybe going to look at playing somebody alongside Busquets who can run, and then maybe play Iniesta or Silva ahead in the hole. At the minute, they're playing the three, which they've always played, narrow, and technically they're great, but when they haven't got the ball, they can't get it back.
I agree.
Do you think, Chris, that Iran might regret not being a little bit more adventurous in that first half, given the chances that they did create in the second, or was that nigh on for you the perfect game management?
It was all about the first goal, wasn't it? And I understand your point that they were too negative, but I think the truth is before the game you look at it player for player, and they were worried about leaving gaps, because I think Spain would exploit that, getting in those little pockets of space in behind the Iranian midfield. But, I said a couple of minutes ago, once the goal went in, Iran sort of went for broke, and they were more positive going forward, and I think they'll take a lot of confidence from that. They know what they need to do against Portugal, and they need to be braver going forward. They cannot sit in and suck it up against Portugal, but I think Spain are a better football team than Portugal. Portugal so reliant on Ronaldo, so I give Iran a real chance. They have belief. You see the support which they have. The support believe, and they have some good players. They created the better chances. They had a goal disallowed. They were unlucky to lose this game. Let's get it right. That's the truth.
Plenty more reaction on this game coming up with Chris Waddle and Guillaume Balaguer on the World Cup Daily. You'll hear from Hernan Crespo. He'll talk about Lionel Messi. You'll hear from Cesc Fabregas as well. Just before we round off this little bit, come on then, Ali. What was the bet that you've had with someone to get all those idioms in? Come on.
Honestly, I promise you, Mark, there is no bet. What
did
we
you do
really
Savage
enjoyed
this morning?
No, I did, but it's got nothing to do with it. I promise you. Listen, Chris and I are really enjoying travelling around Russia. Ksenia's been a fantastic guide for us. Chris is very big on the history and the facts and the figures and the average rainfall and all this sort of numbers. He's your Diego Costa battering ram type person, and I'm more into the language. I'm the artist of the partnership, I feel.
Self-praise is no praise.
And
listen to you. I'm the artist.
And we got chatting, Mark.
Are you Eden Hazard to his Diego Costa?
That is exactly what I'm. Iniesta to his Costa. That's where we're at.
He's a piano player. He's a piano player. Nobody carrying it for you.
Thank you very much, Chris. And we just enjoyed teaching Ksenia the English idiom. So we've been talking about pulling the rug from under your feet, teaching your grandmother to suck eggs. There's no smoke without fire. The gloves are off now. You've taken us around the houses. But the brilliant ones that are coming back, like the pulling the wool over your eyes in Russian is hanging noodles from your ears. We love that.
So, hang on. I just want to stop this. So, do you have to go, or are you going to be sitting alongside Chris for the World Cup Daily, which we're going to do over the next hour?
I'm here.
All right, right. Okay, well, you stay as well then, because
for that, just to provide idioms.
Yeah, just to provide idioms.
Brilliant.
That's exactly it.
We've sent you to Russia not to cover the World Cup.
We're embracing Russia, Mark.
We are.
Try it.
Will you stop saying that? I'm embracing Russia every single day. I haven't seen you yet. The World Cup Daily coming up. I can't wait for it. 9:02. Here's Richard Foster.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet. This is BBC 5 Live.
The police and CPS are to consider whether criminal charges should be brought over the deaths of hundreds of elderly patients who were inappropriately given powerful painkillers at a Hampshire hospital. An inquiry has found there was an institutionalised regime of shortening lives at Gosport War Memorial between 1989 and 2000. Bridget Reeves's grandmother, Elsie Devine, died there.
Accountability must take precedence here. These horrifying, shameful, unforgivable actions need to be disclosed in a criminal court for a jury to decide, and only then can we put our loved ones to rest.
The House of Lords has backed down in the row over whether MPs should have a meaningful vote on the final Brexit deal. Peers have accepted the latest amendment to the EU withdrawal bill. It paves the way for the legislation to become law. President Trump has signed an executive order promising to keep families together after worldwide fury about children being separated from their parents. He said he'd been swayed by pictures of children crying, but he still wants tougher immigration laws. The convicted paedophile Barry Burnell has lost an appeal court challenge against his 30-year prison sentence. The former football coach was convicted in February of 52 offences against 12 boys. A travel agent says more than 2,000 British Airways passengers have now had their tickets cancelled because the prices were too cheap. Ali Shah, the boss of Travel Up, thinks another 5 agencies also sold tickets because of the airline's mistake. BA has apologised. And a shortage of carbon dioxide is affecting supplies of beers, including John Smith's Extra Smooth and Amstel. John Rackett from the trade publication Gas World says the situation could have been predicted.
We have about 8 production plants that normally operate in the UK. 2/3 of that capacity is offline at the moment due to normal maintenance or other issues or technical issues. So we don't have sufficient to actually supply the increased demand at this time of year.
John Rackett now. Back to Mark for the sport.
And England made the highest total in women's T20 internationals as they beat South Africa in the opening match of their tri-series at Taunton. They posted 250 for 3. Tammy Beaumont hit 116 and they won by 121 runs. World number 1 and recently crowned French Open champion Simona Halep has withdrawn from next season's pre-Wimbledon tournament in Eastbourne due to injury. And second half in the Super League, it's currently Leeds Rhinos 24, Catalan Dragons 14, and you can listen to that match right now on the BBC Sport website and app.
Robbie Savage's World Cup breakfast.
I mean, is there anything else wrong with the ball, Rob? Is there the atmospheric conditions? Is there the axis of the world that are going to give goalkeepers an excuse not to save the shots?
Morning, Stevie. Confidence should be flying around. Take that into the planning game, set up the Belgian game. Who are you fancying? Just put my neck on the line and go Brazil. Go Brazil. And final question, mate, Ronaldo or Messi?
Robbie Savage's World Cup breakfast. Back tomorrow from 8:30
on BBC Radio 5 Live.
From BBC 5 Live, this is the World Cup Daily Podcast.
Hello, I'm Mark Chapman. Welcome to the World Cup Daily. Loads of guests on it today. Chris Waddle, Guillaume Balaguer here in Red Square with me. Chris Sutton and Alistair Bruce Ball are still in Kazan, where Spain beat Iran by 1-0. And you'll hear from Hernan Crespo a little later on as well on Lionel Messi. Guillaume Balaguer, are you relieved after that from Spain?
Let me just read my notes. He says, we didn't attack well the first half, we didn't defend well the second half, we didn't manage the game very well. So it is a bit worrying that once so hard to beat teams, especially when they defend so deep, there wasn't space at all. Okay, you knew that, right? We knew that. So you bring Lucas Vázquez with the idea of adding width and depth, but you could see in the first half that didn't work, partly because everything was very slow. All right, here we would have changed everything. I would have changed everything. 2 players coming in, come on, let's do something new. But of course, coaches know better, and he decides to be more patient and give Spain the order of putting a gear up, which they do in the second half. So we started playing better, and as a consequence, even though it's after one of the top 4 Iran chances that they have, just after the first one, we score. But after that, as Chris was pointing out straight away, we started losing possession very easily. I think one was Carvajal, Iniesta twice, and started dropping deeper. And we cannot defend in our own box. We know that. All right, let's defend high up. There was no possibility of doing that because Busquets, Iniesta, Silva, 33-year-olds, and all of a sudden they don't have that sharpness to go for the ball. We are in the position to try to get the ball back, but it's very easy to beat us, and then we are exposed. So there are weaknesses. I'll add one more if I can.
Go on, I'm trying all the time in the world. As many weaknesses as you want, that's fine.
One more. De Gea, he stays on his line and goal line too often, and I'm trying to see the chances of Iran, and I don't see a proactive goalkeeper. I see a reactive goalkeeper, and that can only tell me, because he is completely the opposite, that he perhaps is lacking a little bit of confidence, doesn't come out dominating his area, the small box, doesn't shout. I don't know, it's all very strange, and it's all very unlike De Gea, but it's a worry.
I think he's got he's definitely lacking confidence. You can see that he's not confident. Man United doesn't come for great deals, does he? Because normally the centre halves, whoever's playing, Mourinho picks, normally deal with crosses very, very well. Spain don't deal with crosses very, very well. So he's got to sort of change his game state to say, I've got to come for a bit more and come off my lane, which is hard for him when he's had a couple of mistakes. People are saying, should he play? He's lost a bit of confidence. Spain's got to find a way on the park of saying, when the ball is a certain area, now leave the ball, but once it gets over the halfway lane, whether you're 33 or 32 or 49, you've got to go and press the ball somewhere. There's got to be a point for them to know this is where we start going. And at the minute, Spain are just like basically 60 yards apart from the front to the back.
Because we tried that pressure high, but then
leave it, come back to the halfway lane and say, we press from the halfway lane. When it comes to halfway lane, we start. There's got to be a signal to say.
Do you think this then do you think this is a tactical thing or an age thing or a bit of both?
A bit of both. I think Spain have played the same way now for many, many years and been very successful at it. But when your players get older, like people like Xavi was great, moved on, you have to bring replacements in. Now, if their replacements is not the way of how Spain have been playing over the years and years, yes, you've got a replacement for an Iniesta, which is hard, a replacement with Xavi, which is very hard. You've got to say, we can't do this anymore. We've got to change our game, and we've got to look and say, where do we start pressing from? It might be what you're not used to doing, because it's used to just going, there's a team, go out and play, dominate the football, and we'll win the game. Now it's getting where teams have worked them out slightly, and the players who have took over from the great players are not as good yet, or maybe not as good, maybe will be in the future, but they've got to have a bit of a tactic, which I don't think they've had.
No, you wouldn't change Spain right now, logically, because we are in the tournament. But Koke can do a little bit more damage pressuring high than Iniesta.
Yeah.
Silva doesn't have that sharpness either, and
so they're better off dropping off.
No, because we cannot defend very well in our own box. We're short, so crosses in, and is either as we've seen, a not very proactive goalkeeper, and is Piqué or Ramos, and that's it. We know we're not confident when we have to defend in our own box, but it's how we improve on the pressure high, and I'm not sure there is a way to improve on it, and I think we'll hear more at the end of the World Cup, because did you see the list of minutes played by every side? We were top in terms of minutes played. Second, I can't remember who it was, but it was like 5,000 less minutes.
Yeah.
So, there is a lack of sharpness when we have the ball, in 1v1s especially, and there is a lack of sharpness in the pressure high.
Would you leave Iniesta out then?
No, you have to play him. But are you asking me to take somebody out now?
Yes, I am. Yeah.
No, but I think he's got a point. If you play Busquets needs somebody alongside of him. So you have to play Silva if he has to play on the right. Unfortunately, he has to play on the right.
Against Portugal, it was Koke. So Koke was a little bit
two, and if you want to play Iniesta, you're basically got the free roll type thing where we want to get the ball into you because you can make things happen for her. But in that three, Busquets is getting pulled apart because he doesn't know when to press, when to drop, where to run. And then they get at the two centre-halves when Busquets disappears. Let's pull left, gets pulled right. There's massive gaps everywhere. So I think he's got to play somebody alongside Busquets, and if he's going to play Iniesta, let Iniesta off the leash.
On that bench, when you have Koke, Thiago, and Marco Asensio.
And that's interesting, because the choice by Hierro, this is his first 11 really. He went for a winger in Lucas Vázquez, and he went for what did he use? What was the other one that he brought? It was Carvajal, the other one. So his first choice was to put a winger, which makes sense against Zidane. But then he brought Koke in. I think Lopetegui would have brought Thiago in. Yeah. It's a different way of defending. He's somebody who also is recognised by and identified by that style and likes that kind of style of keeping the ball high, and if you lose it, go on and fight it. Koke is a different kind of player. He doesn't, by nature, he just will release the ball quickly, and sometimes there's a danger because, as we're saying, we cannot recover the ball high up.
A rather disturbing tweet from Budge that says Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton will soon be hosting Ali and Chris's Saturday Night Takeaway. They are hilarious. Let's bring them in Kazan. So, do you fancy doing like
hilarious? We're serious broadcasters.
Do you fancy branching out into light entertainment, the two of you?
I'd get my agent to look at it, I think.
Would you?
Only with Chris, though.
Oh, listen to you, got an agent. I've not got an agent. Contact me directly.
How much? We've done quite a lot on Spain there. I know you are a very enthusiastic supporter of Iran, Chris.
No, I wasn't before the tournament. I've just been impressed. This is what the World Cup is about. And Ali's the opposite. I like an underdog, a fighter, an organiser, determination, spirit. But they had they had more than a little bit of quality in the second half. And they will feel hard done by, but they'll go into this Portugal game, and you've got the Queiroz managed Portugal. That is going to be one hell of a game.
You see, Chris, I really enjoyed doing that game tonight. That was absolutely fantastic drama. But if you're talking about going into the later stages of the World Cup, I would liken it to watching the Greece team that won the Euros. You don't really enjoy watching those performances again and again and again. I would rather watch Spain play their football. You know, that's just the artist to the cart horse.
The artist. Everybody loves a cart. What on? I mean, can we put the mics down? And then what is going on here, Mark? A cart? How dare you?
No, that was rude. Sorry, I pushed that too far.
There was an element of truth in that. I would like to see Iran go a long way. I think that they're not a bad side, and they proved it in the second half.
They did prove it in the second half, actually, didn't they? Some of their football in the second half, Chris, and they did create chances.
They're just an honest team, and you wouldn't say that a superstar. They're a team. They work ever so hard for each other, and it's frustrating to play against them. But I think going into the last game, with Portugal having a point advantage and a better goal difference, I just can't see Iran.
Who's going to win the ball on that one? Who will say, I'll tell you what, I'm going to attack, because
they could get a draw off them. I can't see them beating them.
And Portugal has shown so many weaknesses. They don't dominate games. They've got a lot of quality, but they don't seem to be able to pass the ball 3 or 4 times in a row, and they concede chances. So, well, it's not impossible, is it?
No,
that
not what you
play
see.
like this.
Not what you see out of them, yeah. But I just think with that point advantage and the goal difference slightly better, I just think it's hard for Iran to come out and take the game to them.
Morocco were
played well.
Were easily the better team in that game.
Yeah, but the good teams score.
Yeah,
and no disrespect, but Iran was an own goal, and they've had 2 great chances in 8.
Yeah. In fact, but the 4 chances that they had, that's 4 chances created in the second half against Spain. They finished them. So in set pieces, we know they're dangerous.
Yes, that's what it is.
If they counter-attack, they're dangerous as well. They were a little bit unlucky that they didn't convert them into goals. Well, one of them was, but disallowed by VAR. By the way, on that goal disallowed by VAR, we were watching it now. The offside is not when the ball goes in first.
Yeah, it's off.
It's when it goes off one of the Iran players and then they scored. But they should. Yes, I know it's not for a long distance, it's short distance, but the shoot goes through the legs of De Gea. At Manchester United, he would have just stopped that one because he likes to go with his feet first.
Yeah, he did.
And I think he would have stopped it. Just get him.
But they're saying it was arm ball as well. So,
but also to just nitpick slightly, they gave offside on the field, and I think they went to VAR just to check that it was right.
Yeah.
I.e., the goal wasn't awarded. This is right, Ali, isn't it? The goal wasn't awarded and then changed by VAR. VAR just checked that the assistant was correct with the offside.
Yeah, exactly. That actually, I have to say, Mark, that slightly confused me in the commentary because the VAR I'm used to seeing back home, when they do the rectangle, it's going to change. But you're absolutely right. It's an objective decision, so the VAR can look at that, and with the rectangle, the referee's just saying, yes, we have done a check, and the check has told us that the assistant referee got it right, and therefore no goal.
To talk Portugal and Spain and Iran in one big lump, I suppose, Chris Sutton. Are Portugal simply Ronaldo for you?
Yep, a one-man team. I think so. They are so reliant on him. I wasn't impressed with Portugal today. I saw the game. I thought Morocco certainly deserved something out of it. They were the better the team. And I take Goodham's point in terms of who's going to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. But Iran know what they have to do. They have to win the game. And I think they'll go into that game with confidence. But I tell you also, we were discussing this earlier today about Uruguay and Russia. We were thinking that they would both be a good draw for Portugal and Spain. But I bet watching this tonight, the Russians and the Uruguayans will fancy whoever they get.
And do you know what? That was exactly how I was going to switch it round, because the debate all day, as you say, Chris, has been, who would you prefer to face out of Group A, Russia or Uruguay? And Guillaume, you did do a bit of a roll your eyes when Chris flips it round there, but I think it's fair to say, with Spain and Portugal arguably not being as impressive as Russia have been.
No, for a reason. They'll play football, both Russia and Uruguay, well, perhaps a little bit as Uruguay, but they will play a little bit of football. Against Portugal and Iran, we have to face 2 sides that did not want to play at all. Yeah. And they base the success of, as Chris was saying, the success of Portugal is actually a guy that everything he touches is gold right now. And And it's not down to the football that they create. It's not down to even the football that he creates. Because one was a free kick, the other one a mistake by the goalkeeper. The other one was set piece. And today again another set piece. So they don't need to play a lot. And when you have a player like that, fine, you can do damage. But there is not much football coming from Portugal.
And if I was the teams going through, I'd play Russia.
Why?
Because I think Russia, yes, they've qualified well, and no disrespect to them, they've beat what's in front of them, but the two teams have played. No, I'm sorry.
And they open up, don't they? They will want to play.
They want to play. They want to win. The fans, they want to see. Yeah, yes, they're on a high.
But they have momentum now, though, Chris, don't they?
Yeah,
and
I know what you're saying.
They were really written off. But if they were watching this game tonight and they were watching Portugal and the way they play, I think Russia would get the better of Portugal. I still think Iran will. I think Portugal will go out regardless.
I just think Russia are quite open. I think that would suit Spain. I think Spain haven't played a team yet who's actually... I can't see Russia being the host nation who's got banging goals in all over the place. I can't see them saying, right, well, what we're going to do is we're going to play like 10 behind the ball and sit deep in like we saw the other teams.
But they're not going to fear Spain when they see Iran taking the game to Spain and making them look ordinary in the second half.
The different players, though, Chris. Iran are dogged, strong, physical. I can't see the Russian players playing like Iran, or even as half as the strength. The strength of Iran is the team where they were in a solid. I just look at Russia and there's gaps. The centre half, 39, 38, so and so.
Age is only a number.
Yeah, I know that, but I just think that they're very, very open, and I think Spain would enjoy playing against Russia.
Alistair Bruce-Ball spent half his commentary this evening taking idioms in English and telling us what their equivalent is in Russian. Age is only a number?
Yeah, off the top of my head, you see, Mark, I'm not going to be able to do them. They are pre-prepared, so they're learnt in conversation.
That's a good point. Make it up as he goes along.
You could have said absolutely anything then, and we'd have gone, oh yeah, that sounds about right.
But the ones I've given you this evening are genuine, and I think they are fantastic. Some of the ways the idioms translate over here are magnificent.
He's under the heel.
23 you've named, one for each player in the squad.
How many, in all seriousness, on your commentary notes, how many did you write down for tonight?
I've got 5 written down, and I think we got them all in. We actually didn't even... There's one I haven't got in yet, so that might have to be saved for the next game.
Well, do it now. The World Cup Daily... The World Cup Daily is currently in a head-to-head battle with Love Island for who is the number one podcast in the UK. This might push us ahead. So give us the 5 that you've done already. Yeah. Give us the ones that you put on air during the commentary. Come on.
Okay, favourite one of all for me is to pull the wool over someone's eyes is to hang noodles from their ears in Russia.
Like we did with you earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. We were hanging noodles from your ears, so we love that one. Okay.
Yes.
Clumsy player. Someone does something very clumsy. They're like an elephant in a pottery shop. Now that's close to like a bull in a china shop, but it actually has a slightly different meaning. If you see what I mean, because bull in a china shop's not clumsy. It's sort of, crashing in and charging about. So we like that one.
It's quite clumsy.
That's clumsy, isn't it?
Oh god. Anyway, the really brutal one, the really savage one, I think, is don't cry over spilt milk. Is don't cry about your hair when they cut your head off.
Yeah, it's a bit more brutal than just spilling some milk, isn't it?
Exactly. That's
chucky, that one.
There's a bit of malevolence there, isn't there? What else do we get? Yes,
under the thumb.
Oh, under the thumb. Yeah. In fact, Chris, you like this one, don't you? Go on.
Can I say very Russian? Under the heel.
Right.
So, do you know? But again, don't you think that has that slight threat of violence in you? So you're under the thumb in England, but exactly. So you can imagine someone with a heel on your throat. Yeah. Okay. During the game, we actually learnt one, which is the cat amongst the pigeons. If you put the cat amongst the pigeons in Russia, you get the goat into the vegetable garden. I think that's a cracker. I love that one. An outlandish prediction. So, Chris thinks Iran are going to knock Portugal out of the World Cup. That would be described as a granny's guess over here.
No, that wouldn't.
Outlandish,
not by the sensible people.
Not going to happen. That's a granny's guess.
And is that all of them?
That was all of the ones we got in.
And your other one?
Well, the last one I got for you, which we learnt last night, I can't quite make sense of this. Doesn't work quite so well, so this might not just nudges ahead in the battle for the podcast charts. But if you're indecisive, so if you're in a restaurant and you think, am I going to have the pizza, am I going to have the pasta, am I going to have the steak, what am I going to do? You've got to stop pulling the cat by its tail. Just let the cat go, make your decision.
Okay.
Stop pulling a cat by its tail.
Forget that one.
You know earlier when we said you could have said anything to us and we'd have probably believed you.
Yeah.
Is there any part of you that thinks whoever is doing this and giving you the Russian idioms is maybe having you on it at all?
Well, no, what is funny about that, Mark, this is a true story. So Ksenia, who is...
We've got one true story.
She's as honest... who's as honest as the day is long, and we'll get an answer for that one as well.
No, that one up.
But when she...
Can you just talk?
I know.
I'm not in idioms and riddle.
Oh, no,
sorry,
okay.
Okay, listen to this, though. When she told us that pulling the wool over your eyes was hanging noodles from your ears, Chris mistakenly believed that she was actually winding me up, so that she was actually hanging noodles from my ears by saying that hanging noodles from my ears meant what it meant. So everyone fell about laughing because they thought they bluffed me, but actually that is genuine. You hang noodles from people's ears if you're deceiving them. So
okay,
they're all true. They're all true. Promise you.
Lovely having both of you with us this evening. You're starting to get on my wick, but you can find that one out as well next time we see you. Thank you very much, Alistair Bruce. Yes, says Chris, like ringing endorsement. Yeah, they're really annoying. Let's get rid of them. Guillaume Balaguer and Chris Waddle are staying with me. Let's talk to Steve Crossman because the rather odd news coming out of England today is that Gareth Southgate, Steve, has dislocated his shoulder. Explain.
Yeah, like an elephant in a pottery shop,
don't
right?
Don't leave it.
He was out running in Repina today. In fact, I think down the road, which just goes past our hotel. It's a long straight road through this beautiful woodland, but it's very bumpy, as I've been told by other people who aren't me, who do things like go running during the day. And yeah, he's fallen over and dislocated his shoulder. I think some people mistakenly thought it was during that really exuberant celebration that he did after Harry Kane's winner against Tunisia. It wasn't, so he's now walking round with a big sling, and he's basically said the worst thing about it is he didn't get to break his own 10k personal best.
So he has been seen around, it's all been sorted, treated, fixed, and he's been seen around the camp today.
Yeah, that's right. So I've seen a couple of pictures of him with the England squad. They had like a planned team meeting today, and you can see him there in the sling. So he's absolutely fine. But he actually used to do this back in the day when he was manager of Middlesbrough in the Premier League. He had a thing where he'd walk into the centre circle after a win, and he would punch the air 4 times in a row, and the crowd would cheer. So the fist pump is not a new thing for Gareth Southgate, but he's going to have to come up with a new celebration now.
And have you seen any of the players? You may not have done. I don't know how private it's been at the camp. Have you seen any of the players and how they've reacted to Southgate's dislocated shoulder, or is the only time you've seen them today earlier when they were racing on inflatable unicorns in the swimming pool?
Yeah, the latter. The only time I've seen that. I genuinely, Mark, thought in preparation for this chat, because it's my first since arriving here in Repina, that I should find out who won the unicorn race, because we all know there's been one. I was like, I need to get a new line on the story. But then it occurred to me, should my first email to the head of communications at the Football Association, who I've never met, be just checking who won the inflatable unicorn race? So I decided not to do that, so I can't break the story.
Poor.
Very poor, isn't it?
Got to ask that.
One job. We were told before the tournament the players would be encouraged to go out and explore and sightsee, particularly if they were given a day off. Looking at Gabby Logan's Instagram earlier today and Instagram stories, they were filming in St. Petersburg, and some of the players did go into St. Petersburg to do some sightseeing.
Yeah, Gareth Southgate said, didn't he, wanted them to be good tourists. Jordan Henderson, I know, went to the Heritage Museum. It's an art and culture museum, one of the biggest in the world. Fabian Delph was at the Church of the Saviour. I can tell you that it's a great thing, I think, that they went to St. Petersburg, because I guess it could be tempting when you've got a day off, a day to let your hair down, to stick close to the camp, but you actually have to be careful around here. And seeing as this is my first day, I've been pre-warned, because to my right hand side where I'm standing now, there's the beautiful ocean. It's the Gulf of Finland. To my left hand side is this massive wooded area. It's a huge forest, and it goes back for miles and miles. And apparently if you go about a mile in, you will encounter packs of wild dogs. and if you go 2 miles in, you will encounter bears. So I think it's a good idea that they went to St. Petersburg and didn't hang around here.
Steve, thank you. Steve Crossman at the England camp. There's been lots of discussion, Chris, about how England line up against Panama and whether Marcus Rashford should come in for Raheem Sterling, whether Loftus-Cheek should come in for Dele Alli. I mean, Dele Alli might have an injury, so who knows that. It always seems a bit unfair on the players that have started, that as soon as the substitutes come on and do half decently, that immediately, change.
I would like to see Rashford start alongside Kane as floating around as a sort of a number 10, which people always get a number today, so I would probably say I'd like to see Rashford in there. I think Sterling's finding it hard. He gets on the ball, loses it cheaply. He's not going to score at the minute. He doesn't seem to have any confidence and belief for all he scored at City. He hasn't got the belief in an England shirt, I don't think.
Do you think that's partly because his position's a bit different, or do you think that's got nothing to do with it?
No, I don't think it has. I think at Man City he's only playing with Aguero and David Silva and Bernardo Silva and Kevin De Bruyne. You're going to get, if you don't get 20 goals, there's something wrong with you. But he's had chances in the friendlies and here. It just doesn't look like. And at the end of the day, you can say he's causing problems. He gives the ball away too cheaply for me, and he's not scoring. So I think, given Rashford, if he got the minutes Sterling has, I think you'd see more in product.
We are putting the substitutes in the same back, but Loftus-Cheek came to do a job right at the end of the game. Has absolutely nothing to do with what Dele Alli had been doing before that. And in the case of Rashford and Sterling, yes, you can swap in that position. But do you really want to kill Sterling after the first game? I mean, you get him out of the lineup. What message are you sending him? Because first of all, he's playing out of position. He's playing in a role that he's not used to. You're asking him to do another something that it doesn't come natural to him. And next you go like, right, you're out now.
Yeah, but it's right. So if he's not really out of position because he doesn't play as a winger for Man City. He plays quite narrow. So he's not a winger. Right. So if he's not a winger, he's not a 10. What is he? Is he a what? So, but if he's not comfortable with that position, why does he go to say Gareth Southgate? Unless you play me sort of a right winger or where I play at Man
City. Because he's England and he's the World Cup.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if he's in the shirt, he's got the shirt. I bet he's actually, when he got that shirt in that position, I bet he was absolutely delated.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
I bet he thought that's where I want to play.
He plays sometimes central for Manchester City, but he comes from a wide area and a completely different way of playing as well.
But they're not stopping him going wide. He can still go slightly wide.
I've seen him so often in the first game with his back to goal as next to a Kane. That's definitely, as you say, maybe he should actually move into wide areas and do it himself. But he seems not to understand either the role or not comfortable with it. Clearly,
why would putting Rashford in for Sterling kill Sterling? But why? But, for example, Loftus-Cheek in for Dele Alli, you didn't ask the question whether that would kill Dele Alli. Or, if Danny Rose comes in for Ashley Young, would that kill Ashley Young? Why specifically Raheem Sterling?
Two different cases. Dele Alli, we're saying that perhaps...
Yes, there might be a not. Yeah.
There's a problem. Yeah. I don't think there is many players in that position between the lines, behind the two strikers, that can do it as well as Dele Alli. Loftus-Cheek is a good player to come and bring on to give something different in wide areas. So you just bring him back into the bench, somebody who doesn't expect to start anyway. But Sterling, you're talking about one of the stars of your team. You're talking about a guy that is supposed to make the difference. A guy that I know his record with England is not great, but having come from the season that he has come, you actually say to him, as I said earlier, I want you to do this. Actually, you haven't done it well. Let's put somebody else. And I think, wouldn't you just be affected by something like that if your manager takes you out?
Well, it's football. Listen, if Paddy Kane doesn't score, who's your next player you think should score? It's Raheem Sterling or Lingard or Ali after that. But really, Sterling's the furthest one advanced to them three. So you're in the team for a reason. Why would you pick Raheem Sterling? Create and score, hopefully. Right, he's not doing either.
But at the same time, if you're actually going to play against England, I will be very scared if Sterling was in the side, because I'd
be scared if Rashford was on the side.
Okay.
Guillaume Balaguer and Chris Waddle are with me on the World Cup Daily. 27 minutes to 10 o'clock. The latest BBC News is with Richard Foster.
On digital, online, smartphone and tablet, this is BBC 5 Live.
Police are re-examining the actions of medical staff at Gosport War Memorial Hospital during the 90s after a report found more than 450 people had their lives shortened when they were given painkillers for no reason. Ministers say there was a catalogue of failings at the hospital. The government's won a vote on its key piece of Brexit legislation after some Conservative backbenchers who'd threatened to rebel changed their minds. They were among MPs who wanted Parliament to have a greater say if no deal was reached with the EU. President Trump has signed an executive order to end his policy of separating migrant children from their parents at the US-Mexico border. The measure has been widely criticised. And the American ambassador to the UK has confirmed that the president will meet the Queen when he visits next month. President Trump is coming to the UK on the 13th of July. It's his first trip here since being elected.
The sport headlines: England set a new world record for the highest total in women's T20 internationals as they beat South Africa by 121 runs in their Tri-Series opener. They hit 250 for three, included a century for Tammy Beaumont. England's rugby league head coach Wayne Bennett has named debutants Jake Connor and Tommy Makinson in his team to face New Zealand in Denver on Saturday. And in tonight's Super League action, it's Leeds 24, Catalan 24, and you can listen to the closing stages on the BBC Sport website and app.
This is BBC 5 Live on digital, smart speaker, smartphone and tablet.
On the roads, just one problem to mention. Still got the problems on the M4 eastbound, just outside Newport. There's 2.5 miles of queuing traffic now. It's all because of accident investigation work between Junction 24 at Caldra and Junction 23A at the services, causing queues as far back as Junction 25A at the Grove Park roundabout. Richard Foster, 5 Live Travel.
5 Live Sports. The FIFA World Cup Russia.
Trippier to take it. Maguire with the header. It's not in by Kane! Harry's done it for St George. He's won the opening match for England in Russia.
Next, England take on Panama. Sunday, 1 o'clock kickoff.
That's what these games are about. It's a World Cup. You go into the last second and, absolutely buzzing.
Ecstatic when that goal went in. England deserved that.
The FIFA World Cup.
On 5 Live and across the BBC.
Hello, this is Mark Chapman with the World Cup Daily. Chris Waddle and Guillaume Balaguer are with me. You can download it every single day. If you just subscribe, it will appear every morning in your podcast app. Don't forget as well, there's Robbie Savage's World Cup Breakfast every day. Also, if you've got a smart speaker, say, take me to the World Cup. And there's lots of 5 Live audio that you'll be able to access on your smart speaker that way as well. Just before we move on to do Uruguay, Saudi Arabia, which I haven't really touched on, you did a sign at me, which was sort of stroking your beard, which I'm assuming is reference to Ronaldo, is it?
He never, ever, ever. No, he doesn't have a moustache. He doesn't have a goatee. He doesn't have any of that. But like a week or maybe 10 days after Messi was in the cover of Paper, the New York fashion magazine, with a goat, greatest of all time, of course, and a few days after he actually, after scoring one of the goals, he did that as well, didn't he?
He did.
He now grows one. Grows a goatee. Yeah. How do you call it when it's just a lower part of the
well,
of the
it's still just a goatee.
Is it still a goatee?
I think.
So there's a lovely subplot of a kid who loves challenges and challenging his nemesis. He doesn't forget, does he? He keeps saying, I'm mature, he's my friend now. Look, my son admires Messi. Never mind, he still gets motivated by seeing Messi failing and beating him.
We are at that stage where you can send messages to your rival with facial hair. Yes? Yeah, brilliant. Right. Uruguay beat Saudi Arabia. We kind of touched on who would Spain or Portugal prefer to meet. Luis Suarez got the only goal of the game as they beat Saudi Arabia. 100th game for his country. He's the first Uruguayan player to score in 3 different editions of the World Cup, 2010, 14 and 18. I don't really know what else to say about this game, to be honest with you.
No, I think Saudi had more possession, but Uruguay had more shots, nearly double. I think Uruguay playing a 4-4-2 are always going to concede possession. I think the old system of 4-4-2 is you get done in midfield, but you've got an advantage of having a second striker. And if you're compact and you work it well, you can counter-attack on teams. And Uruguay are here basically to win games. Simply, that is it. There's no thrill about them. There's no entertainment value with Uruguay. It is basically, we're here to be hard to beat and we'll nick results with the quality of Cavani, who needs probably 10 chances to score, and Suarez. And that's how they're going to nick games.
So the wonderful thing of being around here with you is that you come out of here and then all of a sudden, Crespo passes by or Cesc passes by, Diego Forlán passed by after the game. He was doing it for somebody. And I just raised my arms and went like, what the hell was that? And he went like, well, it is what it is. And I asked him, I said, do you enjoy this? And he said, yes. Yes. It's not about playing with the ball. It's not about being beautiful. We'll let others do that. It's just about being very strong in both boxes, and that's what they are. They've had in 2 games 8 midfielders. They don't care how the ball gets to up front, as long as those 8 guys run their run completely. Socks off.
Yeah. Where's Alistair Bruce Ball and Chris Sutton when you need them?
and then just deliver the ball quickly to the guys up front. They're very strong in both boxes. They don't care about anything else. It's all about winning.
The next 3 games coming up then on Thursday. Denmark versus Australia first of all, then France against Peru, and then the evening game tomorrow should be a cracker. Argentina against Croatia. And with that game in mind, I've been to see Hernan Crespo.
The FIFA World Cup. This is the World Cup Daily Podcast.
Is there a pressure on this squad to win this World Cup for Messi?
I think Messi deserves to win. I think the football gives something to him. But I think we don't help him so much. It was a pity situation. The most important player in the world, and don't help me. I think after this draw, maybe the group, they suffer so much after this, and maybe they start to be close each other. You never know. If you start like this, you suffer it.
Brings you together.
Yes. You never depend on them now.
But do you think they feel, we have Lionel Messi, get the ball to Lionel Messi, and he will win games for us, and he will win us the World Cup, like 86?
No, but it's a different situation. Diego Messi, because it's impossible. It's impossible because in the heart of the Argentina people, it's impossible. Because the social impact that Diego made us is impossible to reach. If you want to talk about football, I like more Diego or Messi, no problem. But we are very proud because both are Argentine.
But that's an interesting point, actually, because what Diego Maradona made Argentina famous around the world at a very difficult time in the mid-80s because of everything that had gone on with the Falklands, and so that's the big thing.
Yes, that's the situation. The social impact was different. It's impossible to reach. It's not about football. It's bigger than football. It's for that it's impossible to love Messi as Maradona. It's impossible. Then I think Messi is fantastic player. I love so much. He's a very good guy. I think he deserves to win the.
Gary Lineker.
No, I like. Without lift the World Cup, he don't need it. He don't need it.
If you were in this Argentina team now and playing against Croatia, and Argentina got a penalty,
yes,
would you try and take the ball off Messi and say
yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you think somebody has to say, look, your penalties haven't been great recently?
No, because it's our leader. It's our leader. It's like this. If we will win the World Cup, I'm very happy. I'm really very happy. But I will be more happy for him because he deserved it. Because he's a very good guy, good professional. For all of us that I like to see football, we love to see Messi in the pitch.
Do you think, I think I know the answer to my own question here, but do you think he has to win a World Cup to be considered a world great?
It's not for me. That I said before. He don't need it. Maybe he feel this pressure, but it's about him because he wants to so much. And Barcelona is natural to win. in Argentina is so hard. I don't know why. We lost 3 finals, 2 in penalty kicks. So unlucky. So unlucky.
Just to clear something up there, because when I threw Gary Lineker into that list, you looked at me with disgust. Chris Waddle.
Diego Maradona, Lionel Messi. Oh, come on.
I know, no. The reason, because he had been telling me how he used to watch Lineker as a boy growing up in Argentina and learnt some of his striking techniques from watching Lineker, which is why I threw him in. But if that bit's edited out, it just makes me sound like I'm, kissing Lineker's you-know-what, basically.
Next question.
Yeah, which I wasn't. If you were in that Argentina team...
That would be great, wouldn't it?
It would be great. And Messi went to take the next penalty, would you try and dissuade him?
Me?
Yeah.
You know my history.
I know.
You're asking the wrong guy here, by the way.
Well, I've only got you and Guillaume, and you're the you're the former footballer.
I would say take it. Go on, mate, take it. I'd be on the halfway lane, waiting for him to jog back. Listen, he's a great player. He is an absolute top player. There's not many better. And you can go through history. He's in that category of world class top draw. Right now, I've seen Ronaldo miss pens. I've seen Messi miss pens. We've seen Diego Maradona miss pens.
Mm-hmm. He missed actually 5 in a row, Maradona.
Well, there you are. So
you said.
Now, so at the end of the day, if he misses it, does it mean he's a bad player, or should he take it? Now, he could give the ball to the next player, i.e. Aguero. Now, Aguero misses. What happens then?
Can I say, after he missed the penalty, I got a message from one of the top managers in the world, and he says, I think Messi needs psychological help. He was trying to say he's actually taken it in his safe side. So he's left-footed, and he played it to the right of the goalkeeper at a pace that was easy for the goalkeeper to save.
Yeah.
And he thought, I think the pressure it's the first time, he said, that I've seen pressure beat him. And of course, the pressure's immense. It's not just Ronaldo and his goatee. It certainly is the fact that Argentina, this is another curious fact that Crespo touched on. As Argentina reached recent history where they've reached 3 finals, 2 Copa Americas and World Cup, as a failure. They see it as a failure. Can you imagine England doing that, or Spain doing that? 3 times in a row, in 3 finals, twice missed in penalty shootouts. Anyway, it's seen as a failure, and he's blamed for it. Not he's actually congratulated for taking the team to the final. He's actually blamed for it. So even though he's got the volume, the emotional volume very low, it does feel like it's really, when he plays with Argentina, it affects him. But the other thing that's happening, of course, with Argentina is that they playing so bad.
Yeah.
The way they play football is not about let's create superiority in one side, or let's overlap, or let's pass the balls quickly so only when he gets to Messi he's got a little bit of pocket of space. No, it's like, let's give the ball to Messi.
But why don't Argentina, though, and I know we can't say what Argentina are going to do system-wise, but if you look at that squad and you say, you know what, we've got Dybala, we've got Messi, we've got Aguero, we've got Higuain,
bad start.
Dybala. Yeah, but go and say to Messi, come and play on the right-hand side like you do with Barcelona a bit. I know he played more loose this year, but over the years he was really effective in that right side-ish bit. But why don't they say, just go and play them, we'll see how the game pans out. If you've got you look at their squad and you go, wow, attacking-wise, can't defend. They ain't got defenders, they can't defend. So you might as well say, yeah, we're going to win, but we might have to win 5-4. But we're going to score 3 or 4 goals every game, and we'll hope we can defend. Because when they try and set up a team to say, hey, we've got 2 forwards, 4 midfield, we've got this, that, they can't do it.
Are Croatia the favourites for you for this game?
Yeah, definitely. Croatia will score, because Argentina are absolutely, in my eyes, terrible at the back, and I'd be very, very surprised if Croatia don't score at least 2 goals.
Chris Waddle and Guillaume Balaguer are with me. Cesc Fabregas was our guest on this morning's World Cup Daily, and he gave a fascinating insight into playing with some of the world's best. You'll hear his take on actually playing with Messi shortly. But first off, here he is on his Chelsea teammate Eden Hazard, who of course is here playing for Belgium.
I think Eden, talent-wise, is top class. The only thing that I think he should realize, and I always tell him as well, is that he could be even much more than this. Forget talent. Sometimes talent is not enough.
How does he get that belief then? Is it about being more selfish?
Well, I don't like the word selfish because sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, you know, because people can say, oh no, selfish means that he needs to dribble 5 players and shoot from 20 yards, 30 yards. So I mean, that's not what I mean. But sometimes when there is little things like a 2-against-2 situation, he's such a nice guy. He's humble. He's the opposite of selfish. He will always be looking to make the pass instead of, you know, have the confidence to just dribble, because he can do it. He can get past anyone in the world and just go for it yourself. I mean, I understand if it's 2-against-2 and I am the one with the ball, it's normal that I try to make the pass because I don't have the same qualities of dribbling and the speed of Eden. But I tell him sometimes joking, if I had your physical abilities, I would be scoring like 40 goals a season, because you can go past everyone. I cannot do it. I have to play football in a different way than you, but you have the speed, the strength, the talent, you have everything.
He's tough, isn't he, as well, because he gets some treatment.
He's a strong boy, yeah.
Let's move on to Iniesta. What's Iniesta like to play with?
Sometimes Iniesta, it feels like he does impossible things very easy. He makes it look like, oh, he just did it. But it's so difficult. You know, he gets past players well with ease. He doesn't move a lot, but he doesn't need to, because his first touch is so good. You know, he gets away from you with a simple move with the shoulder.
Yeah.
And special player.
Because he makes the impossible look easy, do you sometimes have to try and anticipate what he's going to do?
I don't think so. I had a very good feeling with him when I was on the pitch. We were always looking for each other. We understood each other very well. I played with him for the under-21s when I was 16 already. So basically, all our careers we've been playing together for the national team, and then obviously at Barcelona as well. And we always had that feeling, looking for each other, playing 1-2s, and you see that paid off in that World Cup final for example.
Did you work on that understanding, or is that something that it just happened?
It happens. There are things in football. For example, me and Diego, we never played